They want us to think that we're an insignificant speck of dust, but let me tell you, we are so much more than dust in the wind.
At least 4 billion useless eaters will be eliminated by the year 2050.
I'm still waiting for somebody to show me gas pressure without a container.
I personally don't believe anything they say, right down to the God they claim they worship.
None of the math adds up.
You could stack up all their math books, all their science books, and even put all their degrees stacked up on top of that, and you still wouldn't be high enough to see the curvature.
This is exactly why grounding is so important.
We see too far.
We're just regular people who know we're being lied to. We're tired of it.
The bottom line is, there's only one choice left, and that's to dismantle this whole thing from the top down. So tonight I'm having someone on I've known for a while, but that I met in the strangest way. And I don't really want to give it too much away, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring him up. Tonight we were talking to my dude, Snoop Von Poop. What is going on, my man? We obviously have to get into that too, so.
You made it sound really weird right out that gate, dude. Like, you don't want to get into how we met.
Shit got weird minute one, bro. That's how it happens. So what's going on, man? Tell everybody who the hell you are, why you're here. You're here because I like you, but what are you here to talk about? What's going on? What's going on?
Like, okay. It just, the whole video went out right there.
Yeah, I know. It froze up.
All right.
I
Just
saw
wanna
it.
start over?
I'll fix it. No, I'll fix it. I'll edit it from where I said, what's going on? Just jump in there.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking awesome to be here to talk to you, man. I can't believe it. I don't even know how all this began, quite honestly. Just talking shit, like,
Pun intended.
yeah, no, I mean, for real, that's what it is. It's like, that's, internet trolls, we're just talking shit, and not to say that I'm an internet troll, but that's kind of how it began, Here, salute, dude. I'm so happy to be here. Cheers.
Oh, the Copper Cup buddies. What's up, man? That's a good one.
Hey, when in phone.
Yeah. I love it. When in phone.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, dude.
Have you noticed the difference yet? Does anything taste weird to you out of it? Do you notice
out
any
of the
kind
Pro
of difference?
Cup, I'll tell you what, it
Yeah.
definitely stays colder.
Yeah.
I can say that.
So you're going to start noticing, we won't get into that too much right now, but you're going to start noticing I haven't been sick in so long. And the last time I was sick, well,
I don't get
let me
sick
rephrase
either.
that. I wasn't sick at all. Then 4 months ago, I had something when my wife was real bad, and I just brushed right through it. And I think the copper has something to do with it, but we'll get into all that later.
I'm curious. I know I've heard you talk about it before, so it got me curious, about it. So, but I just thought it would be funny to have today, so I got it.
Is everything a joke, bro? Is it all a joke?
Well, what's funny is I was thinking about it, like, I'm one of those people where I'm always on. So yes, everything is a joke. Like I will, in the darkest of times, have a joke, and it's I don't know if it's necessarily something I should be proud of, but it's just like you got to though,
You have to, man. So
you have to keep light, even at the darkest times,
One thing that I always used to love, I don't know how people will take it, but so I've been known to be a bit of an asshole. I have a sharp tongue, I've been told. I'm witty and have comebacks for everything. And my defense was always they're like, God, you're always picking on people. I was like, see, you look at it that way. But I look at it as when I say something to you, I may hurt your feelings, but the 9 people around who are laughing at you, I brought them joy. And that makes me a good person. So I'm just spreading joy. Don't hate on me.
Yeah, it's like, I wish people imparted more wisdom in me along the way. You know, so sometimes like I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it's because I learned something along this journey that I'm trying to share with you or something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Just get it
Like,
out there, man.
yeah, yeah. But fuck, I wish El Poopy could be here today. I want to bring up El Poopy real quick because he's really how this whole poop thing started, dude. I have him to blame. You know, there would
You
be
can
no
put it all
Snoop.
on him.
Yes, there would be no Snoop on Poop without him. And it started with this gay guitar right here.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. Tell me
it's
about the gay guitar.
so behind me here we have Buddha playing a Puerto Rican acoustic guitar. And this is to represent El Pupi, who wanted to be with here today on the podcast. He wanted to be here, but unfortunately couldn't. What's funny is he's not Buddhist, he's not Puerto Rican, he doesn't even play the guitar. So it has nothing to do with him.
But somehow
But
it
but
represents him.
but this he bought me this guitar on a trip to Puerto Rico. He took 3 Mexicans to Puerto Rico, which I find hilarious for
Yeah.
some reason. Like,
That's funny enough in
what?
itself.
Yeah, right? Like, there should be a sitcom made about that or something, right? And he comes back with this ridiculous ass T-shirt that says El Poppy, right? And you know what he said to me, Ted? He told me the most ridiculous thing I've heard a human being ever say in my life. He's like, I want people to call me El Poppy now. I go, what? I go more like El Poopy, right? So that's how his name began. And he, you know, I don't even know what his Twitter name was, but you know, that was back before it was even X. You know,
Yeah.
And then he became El Poopy, and then he kept begging me and begging me and begging me to join too, just to talk shit to people. And so then I had to come up with a name, you know. So I became Snoop on Poop, and then the Wu-Tang Clan was born. So without 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 this Puerto Rican trip in El Poopy, El Poppy, as he wants to be called.
Yeah.
Without that trip, man, there is no Wu-Tang Clan. Like it's just something that came out of nowhere, and here we are.
That's how all
Now,
the best stuff starts.
now these bidet companies are giving us the bidets, and
So
they were
yeah,
giving them away.
dude, that's what's crazy is excellent segue, by the way. I talked to you on Twitter for a long time. You've always commented in my shit, even though you're not a flat earther per se and all that, but
Yeah,
you're
you
right
were one
there
of the
with
first
it.
big accounts that followed me back, and I always appreciated that about you, man.
No, I don't ever look at someone's numbers. If someone says something that interests me or makes me laugh, I'm like, follow. That's it. That's why I'm there. So that's how that happens. But so then I entered some contest you told me about, and I won a
That's
fucking
right. That's
bidet.
right. Yeah, that's right. You won it. You won the 5,000. When I hit 5,000 followers, you won it.
I
So
won
let's
the
let
bidet.
let's get a live review of it. How is it?
Life changing. Life changing. It really is. It really is.
Say less. Right? Because that's how it is. Life. I was trying to tell my cousin today. I haven't talked to my cousin in quite a while, but I talked to her on the phone earlier today, and I was telling her about the bidet. She said that she's never used one in her whole life, and I was like, you don't know.
You know?
Like,
Yeah. Oh, you're one of them. I see.
right. You're one of those people.
It's like the from Demolition Man, the 3 seashells when they're like,
I never
you
saw
don't,
the movie.
you.
I never saw the movie.
So they never explain it. It never makes any sense. But he goes to use the bathroom and there's no toilet paper. There's just 3 seashells on a shelf, and they're all like, "Oh, you don't know how to use the 3 seashells?" But they never explain how it's used. It's just
Dude,
like a
you know what?
ridiculous.
You know what they needed, Ted? And this is a shameless plug. Great segue, like you just said.
Yep.
Fucking portable bidet, baby, right here. That's what they needed for them shell fucking toilets.
Does it hold its own water inside it?
It does. It does. So I'm gonna open it up and I'll show it to you right now. So I'm gonna give. Listen, I'm gonna give one of these away when I hit 10,000 followers. So anybody that wants a free bidet, follow me.
Anybody who wants a clean undercarriage,
Right?
follow
If
him.
you want a fucking clean ass, so it's pretty cool, dude. It's got. It's so you fill this part up with water and it squeezes, right?
Oh.
And then you just And what's
I
nice
see.
about this, I'll tell you what's really nice, Ted. This is one of the nicer ones that I've ever seen in my life. This other company here, I have one right here too. This other company sent me another portable bidet. Look at this thing. Look at this thing.
What
Right?
the? What is it? Just plug into a water hose?
So you know, well, I mean, I guess you could, or you could just fucking put your ass over a sprinkler. I mean, if you want to get clear. But no, this you just put it in a like any bottle of water and you can
Oh,
squeeze it. But it's like, dude, this has the reach. Like you can get behind real good
yeah.
with this one.
You know,
So
I
this is
must
way better.
say, I'm not mad at it, but I must say, when I started this podcast, this is not what I thought I would be talking about was portable bidets.
I
But I will
think I would be
also
talking
say,
about it.
that it is life changing. So maybe it needs to be discussed more. People don't
Well,
know.
and you know what's messed up, Ted, and I'm sure you're no stranger to this. It's like we get blackballed in the algorithm,
Oh,
because you talk about controversial stuff, and I guess
fucking
just
Big
have a.
TP is out to get you, bro. It's
It's,
Big TP.
it's funny, when I first started, I tried to go after the TV companies to try to like get them to follow me because I was like, what a perfect
That's
matchup.
hilarious. I
But
know.
and even other companies that they do moist wipes. I'm not going to
Have
say
you
their
tried
name.
laxatives?
Not for like personal preference.
No, I mean to go after them for to follow or sponsor you. Not
No, no,
not have you
because
just eaten them.
no. But what I was saying was, is like getting blackballed in the algorithm. Like I think that like advertisers are afraid to throw advertise towards us because just my name Snoop on poop is controversial. Just the name
Yeah.
poop alone. You talk about crazy shit. I am crazy shit. And it's like and it's like I think you may have been one of the ones that have told me before. I've talked to a lot of other people that my account gets like blackballed. Like you don't see my posts, you don't see my comments. You were saying and I bet other accounts have sent me messages saying stuff like, "Hey man, I don't see your stuff."
I think you're also
It's amazing I have any reach.
one of the people I think that I've told that I've had to refollow you multiple times. Hasn't
Yes,
happened in a
yes,
while, but like a ways back, it was happening all the time. Just like,
dude. That's how Ali Angel, who was just on your show,
yeah,
was like that. Same thing. She came up blocking me somehow, but I had never met her before.
yeah,
And now we're friends. She'd be mad at me for drinking Mike Hard Lemonade. She's like, "You should have bought your own seeds, motherfucker."
yeah. I
Like,
know, I know. She's awesome. We're gonna
she's
do
cool, man.
a. I'm gonna do a live Q&A with her streaming on X and Twitter on the. Hold on. Since I brought it up, let me look at the date and make sure. On the 16th of April, we're gonna live stream, and because she's gonna go into a bunch of detoxing stuff and 5G and planting and all this stuff, and we want people to be able to ask questions, so it's gonna be awesome. But yes, anyway,
How
go
do you
ahead.
detox from 5G? What? Yeah, I'm
That's what she's
curious
gonna
about
tell
that.
you.
I'm curious, man. That's some crazy stuff, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, we're gonna get into a bunch of that. But yes, so that's how we met was not how we met, but how we started talking more was I happened to win the bidet from the thing and then you guys sent it to me and blah blah blah. But so it was awesome, but I think we have a lot more in common than just bidets, man. That's what
We
I think.
do. You know what I want to talk about? I want to ask you about Vegas. I can't remember if you talked about it on a podcast or I heard somewhere you say you lived in Vegas. Let's talk about that because I grew up in Vegas. Like that's I am Las Vegas Boulevard to quote Entourage or some shit.
No, I lived there. I moved there with a girl I was engaged to at the time. It's not the
What
woman I'm
what
married to
what
now.
what year? What years? Like what time frame?
It was about 10 years ago. No, let me
Okay,
go.
so
12
it
years
was
ago. 12
it
years
was
ago.
it was New Vegas.
Oh, yes, for sure. But the
Yeah.
girl that I moved there with had lived there since 2001, which was still
Okay.
newer Vegas, but that's a lot longer,
Yeah. I moved
So
there in '95.
I actually lived in Henderson, but
Yep, I did too. I went to Green
it's
Valley High School, man.
that's
Right
I
there in
lived right by
Henderson.
Green Valley Ranch. Is that
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
okay.
right by that. I lived right out
That's a
there.
it's a
So
beautiful area,
it is.
Unfortunately, I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday, And he said some of those neighborhoods are getting run down now, and it sucks,
Yeah, I
because I
haven't been
mean,
there in a
back
while, but
back then, like it was all new, Vegas was so different in the '90s than it is today, man.
oh,
People
I'm
have no
sure.
idea.
Everything. Hey, do you go to PTs, bro? I miss PTs.
PTs.
I miss it.
PTs. It's a chain bar. They all have the same theme. Like
Oh, I
it's
know. That was way back in
Vegas.
the day. I just love the 2-for-1 pizzas on whatever night it was, and you just go get pizzas and a bunch of beer and be there all night, and they wouldn't
I
care.
have a
But
funny PT story that I could share with you.
oh yeah.
So I have this friend that I grew up with, and been friends since like elementary school, right? And his legit name is Matt Gay. I'm not even lying. That's his name. And so one time he came up to Vegas to visit me, and we were at a PT's, and we ordered I think a shot of tequila or something.
Hmm.
And this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. He legit, like, we ordered the shots, and as the waitress dropped them, we did them right away. And as we finished them, he puked into both shot glasses, his and mine, filled them to the brim, right?
Oh my god.
Didn't spill a drop on the table though. I've never
That's
seen
talent.
anything. I've never seen anything like that. And, dude, thank God the waitress was a friend of mine. So it was like, because otherwise I'd have been like, wow, I can't
Yeah.
believe I just saw this.
Never going anywhere with you again. Yeah, that's crazy. No,
Right?
that was just a place that I've been there a bunch of times. But Vegas is weird, especially for me, someone who was born and raised in South Florida, going to Vegas. One of the funniest things I remember is that's a one time in my life I worked in a fucking office when I lived there. And people in the office, like, it would rain and they're like, oh my God, it's pouring. And I'm like, what? You don't
Right?
have any clue what pouring is if you think this is bad. They're all freaking out. It's like a drizzle to me. It's so different, but it is beautiful. Being surrounded by mountains for me was a huge thing because, again, from Florida, it was weird.
You know, Vegas, I have a love-hate relationship with. It's
Yeah.
like, it was such an interesting part of my life. I even before Vegas, like, let's just talk stories about Guns N' Roses, Skid Row, Quiet Riot, some stuff that I talk about. I have pictures with Dimebag Darrell, dude. Like,
It's
like,
crazy.
dude. I mean, like, I know we've talked a little bit. Like, you're a musician. Like, to me, having a picture with Dimebag is just like the ultimate picture to have.
So,
Like,
you want to hear a funny story around
you
that
you
I
toured
definitely
you
never
toured with them
told?
or something.
No,
So,
no, but so my band did cover a Pantera song,
okay.
and we were playing in Dallas, Texas, and it was after Dimebag died, unfortunately. And Vinnie Paul walks in the back, and he's listening to us cover a Pantera song, and we're like, "Oh my God, this is so weird! Like, we better not fuck it up." Blah blah blah. And then we were done. We were like, "Oh my God." Hopefully he didn't think it was horrible. He came over to us. He was like, "Kicks ass, man." He's like, "Why don't you guys join me at my strip club after?" Because he owns a strip club in
Yeah.
Dallas.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
I bet that I lost a jacket at that strip club.
I
I
lost
bet
something
that.
else in that strip club, but we won't talk
Oh,
about that.
besides their money.
But it was it's a bring your own booze strip club, which is insane and can only happen in Texas as far as I
No,
know.
they have them in Nevada too.
Oh, they
Like,
do? I didn't know that.
like the fully nude ones. They don't serve alcohol, but you could bring your own.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
like a,
didn't know
it's
you
like
could
a,
bring your own. That's
yeah, it's like a
crazy there.
weird law. Dude,
Yeah,
what's
some
crazy?
loophole.
What's crazy about Vegas? Growing up, I used to get free limousines, dude. Like, it's so like mind-boggling to me today. Like, I still not sure how it all happened, but this strip club would send us free limousines, me and my friend, and like, we didn't even have to go to the strip club. They would pick us up, take us anywhere. All we had to do was tip the driver. So
Yeah.
there was a good probably 5-6 year period where I would get a limousine for free anytime I wanted it. And then even
Yeah,
if I
Vegas
could,
is weird.
if I couldn't get that, you could call Las Vegas Limousine and get one for $35 an hour. It's almost cheaper than cabs back then.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know, it's pretty.
it's a strange town. That's where like they want to give you almost everything for free to get you to do all the other stuff. You know, like when you're in a casino, it's drinks are free all the time. It's cheap
They've
ass
lost their step
buffets.
though. Now they've done fucked it up, Ted.
Hmm.
It's really tragic what has become of it. You know, it used to. There was, so yeah, dude. Just Vegas really changes you. like
Yeah.
just like I lived there for 20 years, man. That's half my life I lived there. And it's like just growing up around the entertainment industry, just seeing so many different things and meeting so many different people. Like, you know, it, you know, so I don't know, for those that don't know, this is the first time I'm putting my face out there as Snoop
Oh
Dogg
yeah,
too.
that too.
So,
It's a
now I can
monumental occasion.
now I can start posting some pictures from some of these stories that I talk about sometimes online,
That's
So that's
awesome.
kind of cool. Yeah. It's kind of cool for me to experience.
I know. I wish. So in all my stuff, I was always one of those like, I'll be back. I don't need to take pictures. Like, I
You know
missed out
what's
on so much.
what's funny is I never asked for autographs. I was never like an autograph guy, and somehow I've ended up with some, and I'm like, where the fuck did these come from? Like I have a Brett Michaels autograph. Supposedly,
Nice.
speaking of Brett Michaels, I'll tell a Brett Michaels story. There's I think somewhere there's a. Do you remember People magazine back in the day? There was like that tabloid magazine
Oh
called
yeah, for
People.
sure. Yep.
There's a picture of me and Brett Michaels in People magazine. I've never seen it myself, but I've heard that it's out there.
That's
And
crazy.
I remember the night it happened, yeah, but I don't, I've never seen the
You're
picture.
like, I've never seen it in People.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check that out now. I gotta write that down. People magazine.
yeah,
Snoop.
like it's probably shit. It had to be 97 maybe. I don't know. Somewhere in the 1900s.
So my old merch guy from my band actually left to go do merch for Brett Michaels. He was from Huntington Beach, California. He may still even be doing it. I'm not sure. He did it for him for a long time because he met him working on whatever, I forget, whatever Brett Michaels VH1 show was.
Oh, where he
I,
banged all the
yeah.
girls.
So my friend was a runner on that show, and then he ended up doing
Okay.
merch for him on tours and stuff. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like my old roommate, he worked for Skid Row, so like I have a lot of funny Skid Row stories, and now he's out with that band Tesla from the
Yeah.
'80s.
Yep.
He's
Oh,
out with
they're
them.
coming here soon.
Oh, dude, yeah, yeah, they're coming out here too in June, so I'm gonna see them in June. And he's
Nice.
my buddy. I've told you about this guy actually before. He is my buddy that lives out in Florida now, and he's gonna be moving back to
Oh
Vegas.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember.
Dude, speaking of Florida, do you ever go up to St. Augustine?
I love St. Augustine. I go up
Is it
there.
is it not the best place on earth or what?
It's amazing. There's a star fort there. One of the star
Okay, so
forts are
my
there.
family had a condo there for 30 years.
It's
We
awesome.
we lived off of A1A on Anastasia Island, they call it. So
I so the place I go there to watch a band that I love that goes there, and they play at the Anastasia Amphitheater. So I go to Anastasia
wow,
Island when I'm there. So yes,
wow, dude, that's such a magical place. And you know
it
what's
really
funny
is.
is we had discussed before this podcast about something to talk about, which is that global collateral counts, which we'll get
Oh
into
yeah,
later.
we gotta get into that
Yeah,
for
we'll,
sure.
we'll get into that at some point. But you know what's really interesting about St. Augustine and how this kind of ties into my aspect of it is there's like St. George Street, you know,
Yes. Yep.
all kinds of cool little shops and bars, and it's the oldest city in America for those that don't know.
Yeah, I've done ghost
15
tours there
was it
just for
15
fun.
1574 or
Yeah, I
1564?
forget.
I
It's
can't remember.
way
Yeah,
back.
it's the first city in America. Um, but there was this cool little store there on St. George Street, and they talked about currency. Like I always just knew the dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
So yeah, now that we're back, what were you saying there? We're talking about,
Currency, dude.
yes, the
Money. We're
currency.
talking about money, baby.
Moolah, fazuls.
Yeah, Fazools. But yeah, St. George Street. There's this little. And I don't know the name of the place. It's probably been 30 years since I was there. But I learned about currencies. Like they had different forms of currency before the dollar. You
Hmm.
know, like I didn't like that was all new to me, and not a lot of people know that either, which is really surprising. It's really surprising how dumb people are. Like, I'm not saying
It's
I'm.
intentional. It's our education
Yes, it
system.
is. It is
They
totally.
don't teach you anything you need to know. They teach you repetition and they prepare you for a job.
So Allie Angel, I just had a conversation with her the other day, and she said something about like she was using encyclopedias or something at school, and they suspended her or something. And I'm like, well, that's crazy to think. Like, imagine today if they suspended someone for using the internet. Like,
Yeah,
what?
I
I
know.
mean, what are we doing?
It's crazy, man. People have a strange reaction when you challenge that. Oh, and speaking of Allie, I'm wearing one of her shirts.
Oh,
What?
boom!
What? What?
Ah,
She's got some good ones. But
she's
yeah,
cool, man. I'm glad she didn't mean to block me.
I know. You're near her too. She's out there by you.
Oh,
She's probably
cool.
she was actually in Vegas the other day. I'm only okay to say that because she posted about it. But yeah, she was in Vegas the other day. She moved out of there, but she goes back and forth sometimes. So yeah, she's out there by you. But
Oh,
yeah.
Vegas.
So St. Augustine is crazy. I go there to for concerts and because I love the place. Actually, me and Bill hung out there last time I went. We went with his daughters and went to Ripley's and just
I was
did
gonna
some
say
stuff.
Ripley's is one of the fucking awesome places to go there. Such
Yeah,
a great,
if we went
crazy.
back, I could find it probably in my posts where I posted stuff from Ripley's, like
That's
the
cool.
curved line thing that it's an illusion and all that. Like none of these
Oh,
lines are curved.
they talk about the curve there.
Yeah, and they have a big space thing too. And no, it has
Oh,
nothing. That has nothing to do with the curve, but they do have a big space thing. It's hilarious.
I haven't been there. I think probably since probably '93 maybe. I think was the last time I was there.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. But yes, so
It
there's a
is
big ass star fort there, the main fort right on
Fort
A1A.
Fort
That
Matanzas
yeah,
or something.
it's a star fort when you look at it from above. It's
Yeah,
crazy. There, these things are
I
all over
I
the
have
place.
pictures. I have pictures from when I was probably shit. I probably was just a teenager, 12 or 13 years old, and like, 'cause it was a jail in there and everything. Like
Yeah, yep. I did a
I've
tour of
toured
the
that
old
fort
jail.
so many
Me too.
times.
Me too,
Like,
man. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. St. Augustine will always hold a special place in my heart.
There's
Like, I
something
love.
magical about it, for lack of a
Well,
better
dude, they
word.
said it was the fucking fountain of youth or
Oh
whatever
yeah,
for
the
a long
Ponce
time.
de Leon
Yeah,
there, that
Ponce de
part. Yep,
Leon. Yeah, yeah.
that's
They
right.
said that's where they fucking found the fountain of youth.
It
I,
is. It's special there. Who knows? Who knows what that
or
even
maybe
meant?
it's just nice weather. I don't fucking know.
He just liked it. It was real cool. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, they have the Golf Hall of Fame there, so that's cool.
Speaking of golf and music, actually, tomorrow I'm going to see Sublime with his
Okay.
son singing, not with
Okay, that's
Rome.
right. I
I
heard you
never
sing.
wanted to see it with Rome. I was like, no. But with his son singing, I'm down to go see it, and it's actually at Trump Durrell's golf course. So it's
How do you feel about the new Pantera lineup?
I don't
Let's
even
get
know who it
controversial,
is.
Ted. This is a controversial podcast. Let's get into things. How do you
I
feel
don't
about
know
Pantera?
who's the new lineup.
So it's Phil Anselmo singing,
Yeah.
Rex Brown's playing bass,
Okay.
Zach Wild, the amazing
Oh,
Zach
I
Wild
love
on
me some
guitar.
Zach Wild though. I'm just
Char-
gonna say.
I listen, Zach Wild. I met him one time, and he told me the funniest story ever. Is that he would go on tour for months on end, and he would never shower. Right, so he would just take pictures with all these people, arms up like this, smile from ear to fucking ear,
Yeah,
singing like the worst asshole piece of shit ever.
I
And
know. I've known people like that do that shit.
I think it's
That's crazy.
hilarious,
Oh, it is. They're so huge at that point that they just
But
want to fuck with people.
so you know who else is playing drums for them is Charlie Benani from Anthrax.
Oh, oh.
Yeah,
I like
he's a
Anthrax
sick
too, so
he's a sick ass drummer, and you know what? I have some connections to his girlfriend was in that band Butcher Babies. Have you heard of them?
yes.
So they were tied into a band that I co-managed back in the day called the Deadly Seven. Both of those girls, Heidi and Carla, briefly joined the band Deadly Seven for a little bit. Nothing ever came to it. I think we did one radio interview with them, and then we had booked some shows, but the person that booked them, like, shouldn't have booked them, like, because people were going to be out of the country. There's no way that the gigs could have happened, you know.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
Dude,
fucked up, but
there's so something we've never talked about on this show that should be talked about is I only had a little piece in it. So I can say, "Oh, I sold over 1,000,000 records," but it was, of multiple albums. So it wasn't one single album. So we did decent, but the music business
that's
is
1 million more than I have.
yeah, the music business is fucked up, dude. So
Did,
just a
did you,
tiny little example, little thing. First of all, I signed my first record deal when I was 17. So technically, you can't even really sign one in the state of Florida. But I never challenged that. But so here's what they do. You're 17 years old. You're reading a contract. You think you're the hottest shit in the world because some label wants you. We were on Ferret, which was a subsidiary of Roadrunner. So they had some
okay.
spread, they had bands on Ozfest and stuff like that.
I
But anyway,
definitely remember Roadrunner.
yeah. So we were reading through it, and you're like looking through what your royalties are and what you get paid, and everything looks fine.
None.
And you get to a point, and it's like, oh, basically we pay you 0 royalties on promotional donations, and then in parentheses it'll say, free copies to DJs, promoters, stuff like that.
It's
You're
not
like,
free.
okay.
You pay for those fucking CDs, dude.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not free.
I get it, but also in your head at the time, you're like, okay, if they're sending a copy to a DJ to try to get them to play it, I don't expect to get royalties on that. It's a free copy. I don't want to get my percentage. Made total sense to me at the time. So, what they did was, at the time we were in Best Buy. Best Buy ordered 50,000 CDs, right? Say Best Buy wants an order of 50,000 CDs at $10 a CD because they're going to turn around and sell them for $18 a CD. Right?
They were one of the last big retailers for CD selling.
Yeah,
how many
they
people sell
were.
CDs anymore? Best Buy hung in there.
So what our label would do is go, no, we're not going to sell you 10,000 CDs at $10 a piece. We're going to sell you what is it? 20,000 at $20 a piece, and then we're going to give you 10,000 promotional copies free. So then they don't have to pay us on those 20,000 or 10,000 copies because
You're probably
considering
like, it's 2000. I got my own CD burner, motherfucker. Like
that's just the shady shit they pull, man. They mince words and they
do you remember
shit.
Do you remember the Hunter Thompson quote that he used to say about the music business?
Remind me.
Hunter Thompson, and I'm gonna butcher it, so let's not quote me on this.
Yeah, no.
But he says something like, the music business is like nothing but a bunch of joking thieves that steal from one another, or fuck, man, I'm gonna murder it if I try to say it.
You already did, bro. You already did. No.
So,
but I get it, and that's right.
It's like so spot on, it's just, and then it's a business is what he says at the end, and then it's also a business.
It really is, and it doesn't have to fully be that way. The one thing I can say is that because I was small enough, we were never told you can't do, well, there was a couple things, but we were never told, like, you should change this part of your song. You should do this. We had problems with cover art and stuff like that. And in order for our CD to be sold in Best Buy, there had to be a giant parental advisory sticker right over the main part of the picture because they didn't like someone's head being wrapped in an American flag covered in blood. So we were very political, but I was on the other end of the spectrum at that time. I was vegan,
I want to
straight
listen
edge.
to it, I want to hear it,
I sent you the link, bro. Did you not get in?
I know. Well, no, I listened to 1 or 2 songs, so I want to listen to it some more when I have some time,
Yeah,
I'm shooting you
it's
straight.
you're probably gonna go, it's a little heavy, but you
No, no,
know.
no, 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 fuck no, dude. No,
Oh
fuck
well,
no.
you like
I
Pantera. Never mind.
no, I mean,
I'll send
I
you.
like what I heard. I was gonna
I'll
ask
send
you
you
if
our
you
Pantera cover.
did
That
you
way.
were you ever into the band Bile?
I remember hearing their name, but see, here's a funny thing that happens when you're actually in a band, especially a touring band. You don't want to listen to other bands, really,
Right,
like, because you're
right.
hearing them all the time, all night. You're
That's
like,
why I can't listen to comedy anymore because I try to be funny and I don't want to be influenced by other funny people.
I used
Like,
to listen, so we'd be on tour with all these screaming hardcore bands and stuff, and I used to listen to like Tom Waits and Coldplay when we left
okay.
to just try to like, I need to, before Coldplay was gay, I'm just saying. But,
I'm sorry.
back
There
in
was a
the
time they weren't. Like
day.
I couldn't name you one Coldplay song. I
Whatever,
didn't even.
bro.
I
It
know
was a
the
different
dude.
time.
I know the dude married the chick that put out a pussy candle, like where the candle smells like her pussy.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Gwyneth Paltrow. He was married to Gwyneth Paltrow, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then did you ever see that candle? They charged, I can't remember, like $400 or something for that candle. It smells like her.
It was supposed to
It's
smell
supposed to
like her
smell like her
vagina.
vagina.
So, why aren't you selling poop candles that smell like your poop?
So,
Bro, the reverse thing. Like, instead of, hey, I took a shit before someone came over, I better light a candle so it doesn't smell like poop in here. How about you have a poop scented candle so then they don't even know? You're like, oh no, that's my fucking poop scented candle.
So
Boom.
we
Business.
we weren't going to do candles, but we've been talking about farts in jars,
Oh my
right?
God.
So I mean, it's kind of the same thing. But I mean, I don't eat a lot of vegetables, and I think that's what really gives you the gas. Like I went carnivore, so I don't get a
Oh,
lot.
did you? Did you
I
go
don't get it.
carnivore fully?
I don't. Well, not fully. I still cheat. I cheat,
Yeah.
but I don't. I don't have the stink decibels to fulfill a jar. I think.
Well, what about El Poopy? Can he contribute?
He's on some Mediterranean shit right now, so he really is the ultimate.
All right, so
form
it's
of
an
gas.
idea for the future, bro. All right. Maybe it's not a right now business idea. Got to let it marinate a little bit.
Yeah, dude. Well, there's a lot of irons in the fire right now. Trying to just figure things out. I've been talking with another buddy of mine about starting a sports podcast. Hey, would you blow me? Is his name? Let's give him a shout out. Hey, would
That's
you
the
blow
best
me?
name ever.
Yeah. This dude is like a straight up almanac for sports. Like, I mean, he knows everything.
I'm the exact opposite. I know nothing about sports. I fucking played them when I was young and loved it. And then as soon as I hit my teens, I went to music and I was like, I don't give a shit about sports anymore. They're fucking rigged. I don't care.
Well, that's what happened to me when I moved to Vegas. Like I said, I was a ball boy for the Phoenix Suns. Living in Phoenix prior, I was a ball boy, and so that was like my first love was basketball.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Vegas, and then it just turned into a whole entertainment animal where I started getting free limousines and partying with Guns N' Roses. You know what I mean? Like
that's pretty fucking awesome. I saw Stone Temple Pilots in Vegas, like way after their prime, but I'm so glad I got to
go to on my own was Stone Temple Pilots.
That's awesome. Oh,
man. My first was.
I don't even want to say what mine was, and it wasn't on my own. It was with my sister, but it was fucking Creed, dude. Creed. I was like 15.
Oh,
14.
Ted, how many vaccines have you had?
0. Well, I mean, the ones that my parents gave me and forced on me when I was a kid that my mom regrets now. But, dude, I was just trying to come into my own. But I immediately went from that to, oh my God, I love guitar. 2 weeks later, it was like,
oh, is that what you played? Guitar?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yep. I played guitar. Well, actually, when we started the band, I played bass. I was a guitar player, but we had a guitar player. We needed a bass player, which our guitar player was Bill at the time. And then Bill started singing instead, so I started playing guitar. And then Bill left the band.
Thank God El Poopy doesn't sing.
It'd be bad. It'd be real bad. Poopy singing everywhere. But yeah, no, so you've met a lot of people. I met a ton of people. So before we get off the whole music thing, I got to tell you, well, I mean, we could go into plenty of crazy tour stories.
Yeah.
But So we played this thing called Hellfest, and the Misfits played it. They were playing shortly after us. So I hung out with Jerry Only all day backstage. But the funny thing is, and this, I feel like even if I get Alzheimer's one day, this will still be burned in my brain. I got, or no, I was getting ready to go on stage. I'm back because it was an outside fest. I'm back pacing around in this area. And right after us on the bigger stage next to us, Misfits were playing. Like immediately when we stopped, they were playing, which was fucking awesome to me. It was a dream come true. But so I'm getting ready to go on, and I see Jerry Only sitting in a Toyota Prius in full makeup, blasting opera, going la 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 la, and I'm
Doing
like,
warm up exercises.
oh
I
my
love
god,
it.
I know, but it was like it was like there was so many things right and so many things wrong with that at the same time. My brain was like, because you see the videos of him always in full makeup, all that, and then it's like the devil locks and he's there, and it's like, what the fuck? It's crazy, crazy.
It is, dude. Like I, I had one crazy moment like that with. You remember Motley Crue for a moment had another singer named John Corabi.
Yes, yep.
So I was hanging out with him. At, we were going to see what the fuck's that band? I forget their name. It doesn't matter. But so anyway, I picked him up in my mom's car, right? And we're in this like red station wagon. I'm driving the lead singer of Motley Crue to it was Black Crowes. Black Crowes, that's what it was. We were driving to the Black Crowes
Yeah.
concert. Like it's such a weird, just moment that you're like, what the fuck is my life right now? With the lead singer of Motley Crue is singer, dude. Another one was Steven Adler, the drummer from Guns N' Roses. This is a crazy story. So I one night, like we have a lot of mutual friends, and so uh, we were hanging out at this bar one night, and he asked me to give him a ride home, and I was like, sure, dude, no problem, right? So I drove him home. I dropped him off at like 9 o'clock at night. He lives in a guard gated community. It's documented, when I dropped him off, and the
It's
next day
documented.
next day. Yeah, so I drop him off at home at like 9 o'clock at night. Like we didn't even do anything. Like we hung out, for a little bit, and then I dropped him off like nothing. And the next day, I start getting phone calls from like record producers, record label people that I've never met. Don't know how they got my phone number. I
Yeah.
know nothing about them. They're like, "Where the fuck is Steven? What did you give him? What did you, this that, giving me the third degree?" And I'm like, I don't know. And I knew that he was supposed to catch a plane flight to go record because he was like recording his when he came out with Adler's Appetite.
Yeah.
He was going to record some music, and so I knew that he was leaving town the next day, and I guess he went off on his own journey
So
and
what you're saying is I'm gonna see you on an episode of Dateline one day. That's what you're telling me.
no,
Is that
no.
you were involved in a missing persons?
No, but what's funny is when I drove him home, we were listening to the band Rap. I just thought it
Oh.
was so weird. Like I'm here with fucking Guns N' Roses listening to rap right now. But no, so long story short, he did a bunch of drugs and missed his plane flight, and these people were blaming me. And so I got everyone to clear my name up. Like I saw him like a few months later at a show, and I was like, "Hey, dude, you gotta make things right and clear my name because I didn't give you nothing. What the fuck, man?" Like people were legit mad at me, and they were like friends of mine.
That's
You
fucked
know,
up,
I'm
man.
like,
You tried to
I,
ruin Motley
yeah, I took
Crue.
you home, dude.
Sure you did. What'd you give him, bro? What'd you give him? No, that's fucked
Nothing.
up though. Just because you were with them, but I mean, I guess that's how it is. But
Well, yeah,
that's the
it's like
thing. Like, God,
they said, like, well, we know he was with you, and that's true. There's no denying that. But I didn't fucking give him anything. And he's and the reason I'm comfortable talking about this is because I know he's open about his problems. I think he's clean now. I haven't talked to him in years.
yeah,
But it's just like one of those crazy things. Like like every day when I would drive to work, going back to Vegas, which is where all of these stories take place, um, like every day on the way to work, I would drive past Wayne Newton's house, Mike Tyson's house, Burt
Yep.
Reynolds' fucking house, Montel Williams used to come in and buy the tabloid magazines. When I was in high school, I worked at this gas station in Green Valley, and Montel used to come in there every week to buy the new tabloids. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
It's
there's a
wild.
lot of famous people that live in Vegas. People think they're all in California. But the weird thing is, so that's why I have this strange, like, kind of problem with so I know that Hollywood is corrupt. I know the music industry is corrupt. I know most of them are fucking lizards. No, not really lizards, but they're on this fucking different level. But I've met so many people that are famous that seemed completely normal. Just like, in a different
Well,
situation, but
you
completely
know, Ted.
normal
You know,
people.
Ted. It's just numbers. It's just numbers. You know what I mean? Like it's any group of people. It's like people say, "Oh, the Freemasons are bad," or "Oh, the government is bad," or this or group, whatever group is bad. Well, but that's just a small group of those people are bad.
Yeah,
Like
all the rest
so
are
I
clueless of it.
I used to hang around with a lot of Freemasons too, and most of them are good people. They're just trying to do good things.
They don't even know
But
what's
right,
happening at upper levels.
exactly. They don't know what's going on, but then there's others that do. You
Yeah,
know, so it's just a numbers game.
I agree. So, what do you what what do you think?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
well, let's go into your thing first because I don't know where it will lead. The global collateral thing, because
All right.
that's gonna lead into other things that I don't want to ask you this before we talk about that because it'll ruin it. So
Okay.
let's do
What?
this, man.
So, shit. So what's crazy is like, I presented this topic to you months ago. I don't remember. It's been so long, and it was just something that I threw out to you to see if you'd ever heard about it. And you said no, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, "Wow, you never heard of this, huh?" And
I don't know everything, man. I just look at a
well,
lot of
it's
shit,
just
but
it's
yeah,
just kind of crazy that there's not enough people talking about it, and it could all be bullshit, just like everything else. You know.
exactly.
So as I was refreshing myself for this topic and getting ready to talk about it, the main guy, shout out to Neil Keenan is his name. Neil Keenan first really brought this story to the public. He unfortunately just passed away about 3 weeks ago, or maybe 4 weeks ago. I can't remember the exact date.
Of what?
So I don't. I guess he was sick for a couple of years. I think maybe
Okay.
he had some kind of cancer, maybe or something. I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me.
No, I just
Um,
meant it wasn't mysterious
no,
circumstances or
no, no,
something
no,
like
no. I
that.
don't think it was anything mysterious. It's just he was an older guy. I think he was 65. I think when he passed. But it's just crazy the timing because, like I said, it just when we scheduled this, like I was looking more into it, and holy shit, I tried to actually reach out to his son, but I felt weird because it's just maybe a little too soon. I wanted to ask him some questions about his dad. But this stuff's pretty crazy. This global collateral counts. It ties into just the global banking systems. Really,
Yeah.
it's all the names you've heard before that are behind all of this stuff. But it's just kind of crazy how the different webs it weaves. How
Yeah.
how it just ties into different things. Um, what's crazy? What I found out is that Epstein is the one that took all of the gold. I'm just
Huh.
kidding.
Well, first of all,
I'm just kidding.
before we go into it more deep, let me be
I'm just
clear.
kidding. I'm just
You're
kidding.
you're not. That's hilarious, by the way. You're you're not what most people would probably consider a conspiracy theorist, like me. I know most people
I'm
consider me a
definitely a
conspiracy
conspiracy
theorist.
theorist. I consider myself a conspiracy theorist. You know what the problem I have with the term conspiracy theorist is the theory part. Because
Yeah,
conspiracy is a definite fact. It exists.
I know.
So for me to like say that I know something, and then you label me a conspiracy theorist, I think is a little dismissive.
Oh,
You know
it
what I'm saying?
absolutely is.
It's like
Absolutely.
it's like it's like it's interesting timing. The Kennedy stuff just all coming out too.
That's a
It,
beautiful thing, by the way. Come on.
Oh, and the Argentina just declassified a lot of stuff too that shows maybe Hitler lived out his years down there. So I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw that.
And then
Just
how
came out
about
this week.
the new chamber found underneath the fucking
The
pyramids
pyramids,
just
yeah,
recently?
yeah, yeah.
What the fuck? What's going on that they don't want us looking at, that all this stuff is popping up? Why are they sacrificing these things to hide what?
What
That's what I want to know.
that dude? That's like what I want to know from you, man. You're supposed to tell me. Like you're the
Oh, well,
this
I
is
mean, I know what it's all about hiding, and again, for
so
anybody
let
who's
me ask you let me
listening,
ask you let me
yeah.
ask you a question. Is NASA running the world?
No, I think NASA's the studio version or the studio wing of the government. That's all
Okay.
they are.
And you know what I've always appreciated about you, Ted, is that I like that you're optimistic about things like when it comes to like Elon Musk or Trump, even. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like you're open minded and like Trump's cool. I'm not
yeah.
gonna talk shit about Trump, but he, you know, he wouldn't be my first choice, but he's what we got to work with.
No, I
You know
know.
what I mean? Like that's just what it is.
Well,
Um,
here's the thing. It's because if I see a whole lot of people talking about that they know it's all a show, but then they say this, and that about someone. Like, so if you know it's all a show, look at them as the characters they are. And if I have to pit, I think politics are stupid. I know they use it to pit us against each other. I know all of that. But in the movie, who's a fucking better character to have around? Trump or Biden or Kamala? Like, let's be honest. Let's just fucking,
I think they're all beautiful, and if you talk shit about AOC, I'm leaving this podcast.
I will say, if she was serving me a drink at a bar, I'd give her a second look, but I don't think
Oh
she
my
should be
god, dude!
running
I'll
anything.
never forget a few years back. I shared a meme that said "Make Alexandria bartend again" or something like that, right? And then one of my bartender friends texted me right away. He's like, "Please no, let's not have her bartending anymore either."
No, I'm sure
So
she'll screw
funny.
it up. But yeah, no, so it's definitely all a show. It's all fucking. That's
It
where
does
I'm at.
seem that
That's
way.
why I'm not black pilled, and I'll never be black pilled because, again, anybody who knows flat Earth, I've always known shit was weird. I've always one of those people who I aced every class in school, but like never did homework, stayed out of all of it. All my teachers loved me, but told me how bad I was at school, like that kind of thing. Like I knew how to do what they wanted, but I had no interest in it at all. I was like, this is fucking programming. We're doing the same thing I learned in elementary school,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. So I always knew shit was weird, but when I found that the earth is not, and I'm not even going to say flat earth, I don't care about flat earth. It's not what they tell us it is. Evolution isn't real. There was no Big Bang. I don't care if it's geocentric. I don't care if it's flat. That's not important. I know it's flat, but it doesn't even matter. The important part is what they told us is a lie, and they told us it for a specific reason. So you feel like an insignificant speck in the middle of
Well,
nothing.
it's programming. It's to
Yeah,
keep control over you.
it
It's just
is.
like the calendar is not what they say it is.
I know. That to
Like
me, I don't see
like
how
so
more
so
people don't wrap their head around that one for sure.
right. Like April 1st just passed the other day. They say that April 1st was the New Year's Day. That
Did
there was
you?
like
I
there was
take it you didn't
13.
see my
There's
post because everything gets regulated. On April 1st, I did a Happy New Year's post and
oh,
posted a
I did
video
too. I did too.
about the
I
calendar
didn't see
being
yours.
wrong.
I didn't see yours, but I posted one too. I didn't. That's funny.
That's awesome.
Isn't it crazy how like you don't come up in my algorithm, and I come up in yours? Like, but I talk to you
I know.
all the
I
time.
know, and we comment back and forth, but like
Yeah, I don't get it.
it's just I have to seek stuff out. I'll go to our conversation, hit your thing, and go look at your posts and comment. That's the only way I ever see them. Ever. It's ridiculous.
Does it come
I
up under spam? I wonder. Like, because I've been told that a lot of my
No,
comments come up under spam.
not on mine. When I see your comments, I usually, but I only see them because I'll go into my post and scroll through all the comments because
Right.
I pride myself in trying to
Because you're a
respond to
grifting whore
everyone
that's
who's
just
serious.
trying to make money off of
Yeah,
accident, and you're
exactly.
using the algorithm. My coffee was delicious this morning, by
Dude,
the way.
somebody asked me the other day, and it was, I won't say who it was, but the word they used, and I'm not saying the word they used was weird because it was the proper word, but just because the word they used made me laugh. They asked me if my podcast was lucrative, and I thought it was something they should do, and I was like, in my head, I was like, lucrative?
Yeah, well, that's a
If
loose
anything,
word.
it's cost me thousands of dollars to sit here and talk to people I
Yeah,
think
people
are
don't
cool.
understand. StreamYard costs $40 a fucking month now. I
Yeah,
heard.
$40 a
Like,
month. Twitter cost a lot. My new
yeah, but
laptop I
Ted,
had to
don't you
buy
make
cost a
money
lot.
on X, dude? You're like a big account. Don't you make money on
Did
X, dude?
was it you? It was one of my friends I sent it to. They asked me the other day. I sent them the thing and they like fucking laugh. They're like 90 something thousand
You,
followers and
you,
that's what you make.
you didn't send me anything, but we did talk about it the other day. And I
It's
actually,
ridiculous.
I remember giving you a guess of what I thought it was, and it was less. So I am shocked.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Because I know my own, and I'm like, it's just nuts.
It
You
shouldn't
know.
be that close, right? You'd think it'd be way bigger. It'd be
Well, it's just
fucking
like I just don't think that like the way that they want to run the payout system now, it's not based on views. So it does you no good to post
yeah.
creative content anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't remember who I saw post something the other day. Do you follow Green Man? Do you know who Green Man is?
I do. I do.
Green Man
Yes.
and Dr. Clown. I think it was one of those two guys maybe posted something, and they're talking about it like now is the time to be a content creator because it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's about just creating good stuff and making something that people want to look at.
Yep.
And hopefully they figure this payout system better because it's not. I mean, I could schedule 24 posts a day, asking you how good morning and how was your poop today? Did you use your bidet? Did you have to take a second poop? Was it a clean break the first time? Like stupid questions all day long, you know. But I don't want to play the game. No, like nobody's trying to respond 500 to 1,000 replies a day.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to do that, and that's how they want you to make money on. So it's just silly.
That's how
You
they
know.
want you to do it. They censor everything. They make it fucking crazy. It's impossible to get shit out. And so that's another thing. Like, because of that, because I don't know if you even saw the post. 'Cause you don't, fucking nobody sees anything. But I did a post like thanking everyone who's ever followed or whatever. And I hate saying follow, but that's what it says on Twitter. So
Yeah, it's a
and
weird thing to say. I always just say friends. I never know what
yeah,
to say
well,
either.
that's what I said. That's why I said anybody who's ever clicked the follow button because I
Right.
hate saying. So, but I got a ton of DMs from accounts who are like, um, small accounts. Like I just feel like I don't get anything out. No one ever hears what I say. So we're starting to have more small accounts on. So we had one
It's
last
growing
week.
pains, dude. I mean, it's just growing pains, and that's what I try
Yeah.
to tell, like, because I try to tell people that are smaller than me, like, what it's like, when I was a little bit smaller. I'm not big at all. I have 8,000 followers or something. It's
I mean,
stupid,
that's
but
respectable. It's
thank you.
it's hard. The first 1,000 is hard, and then it's hard everyone after that. You just got to be
Yeah,
consistent. So
and that's like we were talking about the algorithm and these people that are replying to 500 or 1,000 people a day. It's like that's not even feasible. How are you doing that? I tried
yeah,
to do it, dude. You know what I did, Ted? Is I think I fucking hit about 450. I think was about like my top. Like I think it's about like the most I could get to. But
yeah. I don't even know how to tell
that's
that.
if you're going all fucking day. It's
Yeah, just blah, 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 responding all day.
yeah. Like I'm not trying to do that for $25 a month.
Why not, dude? You're fucking raking it in, you shill.
But I really like I like idea of content creation and putting stuff out there and just, building it,
just putting it out.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's just nice to be able to, like, I don't care if I lose a follower on Twitter. It's different if I talk on my personal account on Facebook or something, or something that my people are on. I could lose a friend in real life. On Twitter, it's like, sure, I could, like, I would consider you a friend now. I would be sad if I lost you as a friend. But I don't care if I lose a Twitter follower that's just talking shit to me online. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I
I know.
don't care.
People are like
You know,
unfollow. I'm like, if someone's
Yeah.
gonna unfollow me for something that I think, then you're in
Like,
the wrong place
I just
anyway.
want to pay lower taxes, and I don't want a needle jabbed in my arm. So what?
I know.
Like, I mean,
Exactly.
fuck.
What's so crazy about that, right? It's insane. So this global collateral thing, we have to get into that.
Okay, yes,
Tell
let's
me
get
about it.
into. Okay, so this money that is called the global collateral accounts. I guess they estimated. I think it's back in the 40s. Don't quote me on any of this shit. It's all fucking AIable. Anybody out
Yeah,
there?
it's a
So
rough
no,
overview. You're
yeah.
not trying to be the grand muckalooka on it. It's just a rough overview.
But they estimated this money to be about 220 million pounds of gold, which back then
Holy shit.
it's so I've heard a lot of different numbers, how that translates to today. I've heard numbers in the quadrillions, which that's just an unfathomable number. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
It's just
what I mean?
ridiculous. So wait, so
Yeah.
what is this money? Where does it come from?
So
Where
okay,
like
so there's and so there's some evidence out there, of so this money was supposed to be set aside for the betterment of humanity. It's
okay.
supposed to be for everybody to be prosperous and not have to worry about a thing. And supposedly over time, and you can trace some of this stuff, like I said earlier, back all the way to like the Silk Road and stuff. It goes
Yeah.
back to some ancient Chinese families, um, and so the money got stolen over time. And this guy Neil Keenan, who unfortunately just passed away, he filed a $1 trillion lawsuit against. I'll send. I think we'll be able to put links, right? Like I'll post links to all the everything I have on here.
Yeah, just give me the links. I'll put them in
Yep.
the
And
thing.
like he filed a $1 trillion lawsuit against like Italy, the World Economic Forum, all these crazy people and banks that are tied into. Um, this money, I guess, is being controlled by like the IMF, the International Monetary Foundation. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
And what's the other one? The International Bank of Settlements, the IBS.
Yeah, so the people who I'm a
Yeah.
firm believer in, I just talked about this the other day, but I'm going to say it again. Don't lose your place. That we don't know the people who are actually in charge. Anybody whose name we know is
That's
at
on
the end of the
purpose.
strings. Yeah, exactly. So it's really controlled by. It sounds to me. Tell me if I'm wrong, and we're gonna keep going. It sounds to me like it's a fund controlled by people we don't even know and we'll never know their names, and it's
We
set
do
up
know their
under
names.
the guise of helping people, but
We,
it's not what it's really
Ted,
for.
it's every name you've heard before behind every fucking thing. The
Yeah.
Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, the banking families.
Yeah,
It's
but I'm
everybody.
saying I think there's
This,
people even above them that we've
of
never
course.
heard
Oh,
their names, you
so
know?
so so some of the stuff that and if, like people want to do a deep dive into some of the stuff. It gets into some deep stuff like the Orsini family. Have
Yes.
you? Okay,
Oh yeah, I know.
so it ties back into some of the those type of families too. It's just
Yeah, the
you know
13 original families and all that.
But it's just about this money that is supposedly out there, and they built the world around what this money is. It's based on the gold. It's based on we have the dollar here. We mentioned currency earlier today when we were talking about
Yes.
St. Augustine. Like everything around the world gets traded in dollars.
Mm-hmm.
It's the world's reserve currency, and so it's like it's got to be controlled by the same people that have been, milking this system. It's interesting that they just like there's this thing called Operation Golden Lily, which ties back into World War II. Okay,
Okay.
they took all of the gold, um,
Okay.
and a lot of the Nazis took a lot of gold from that same time too. And like, there's a lot of documentaries out there that tie into like the Indonesia and like the Philippines. Like
Mm-hmm.
they somewhere like this money was all like transported through there or something. Um, so it's just fascinating. And this guy Neil was trying to bring all this story to the world. Um, it's sad that he's no longer with us because he was the guy that he don't know much about him either, because I hadn't even really thought about this topic for probably 15 years until we had talked, and I was like,
Yeah.
damn. Um, but he, I guess, was like some kind of financial expert, banking guy, and even like I have a friend of mine that is a banking guy, and I asked him about it. He didn't know nothing about it either. And it's pretty interesting to look this stuff up. It's just type in global collateral accounts, everything comes up. And this Operation Golden Lily is some wild stuff too. About how they moved all the gold. It's
Yeah,
it's
that's why.
it's
So, what do you think? I've talked to other people about this. I just want your honest opinion. There's no right answer because we're never going to know. Why do you think gold has held its value throughout time? And not even in recent history, all the way back, gold has always been valuable. And I could see once it became valuable, why it became the standard and stayed that way. But what do you think made gold valuable to begin with? Why it over any other metal? It's not less abundant than a lot of
well,
things.
I
So
think I think because there's a finite amount of it. They say I don't know how much truth there is to that even.
that's what
If
I'm
the
saying. I don't think it's less abundant than other minerals and stuff. But so I have my ideas, but it's something I never thought about until we talked to somebody about it, and then I was like, "That's very
Well,
weird. I don't know why."
let me ask you a question. Are you more comfortable, like if you had your money in gold or Bitcoin? Like, what would you feel
Gold,
more comfortable with?
100%. I don't
Right.
understand. I don't understand Bitcoin. I don't trust Bitcoin, and the reason being is
It does
because,
seem a little unstable.
well, not only that, but my whole thing is the first thing I think they're going to do, and what I can back this up with, is that they've spent my entire life intentionally getting us hooked on electronics. They're
I
getting
agree.
us to not know how to remember phone numbers, to not know how to remember how to get places because we're always looking at our maps. We're always in these things. So when they
You see,
want to
that's just say call it what it is, destroying the pineal gland.
yeah,
Just
oh,
say
that for sure.
just
So
say
the
it what that's what
the
it is.
first thing they're going to do when they want to start a war against the people, the peasants, is the electricity is going to go out. What's going to happen to your Bitcoin then? Or for
Uh,
that matter, your 401k and your money in the
you
bank.
know what, Ted? If the power goes out, I'm just hoping that my bidet works. Okay, because that's all
your
I really care
your
about.
portable one will. Your
Yeah,
portable one
that's true.
will.
That's true.
In power.
But as long as I got running water, my other one works too.
Oh yeah. Well, just so people who don't know, again, see this is stupid shit that they don't teach us. Like you don't need a pump from running water.
That's the
You
name
can
of a
have a
class.
basin up on the top of your house and fill it with water and the gravity, will
Oh,
feed it and you can have pressure. The
there's that G
density
word.
of it. I know. But no, so they do. They don't want us to learn these things. But so back to the gold thing real quick. The only thing I can come up with, and I'm sure it may not be the right answer, whatever, because we were talking to Matt Rife about it, but
You talked to Matt
gold,
Rife, the comedian?
no, not the comedian. Not the
Oh,
comedian.
I was like, damn.
No, actually,
I was like, how big is your podcast, Ted?
Royal Raymond Rife's great nephew, the one who created a frequency
I
technology that
now
heals.
that now that you say it, I know exactly who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
which to
And I
me
wanted to
is
ask you
even
about that.
bigger than
I don't even know what that device is, but I saw you post about it, and I wanted to ask you about it. Like, what the
It
hell is that?
it puts out frequency, which we all know frequency and vibration is everything. And it tunes to certain frequencies, which his great uncle found that it killed cancer cells, it killed all these things. And you tune it to a certain frequency. It has an app, of course, because everything does now. And it just because it'll be like, oh, this pain, and you click that, and it'll just make it do that correct frequency. So it's frequency healing.
So is it just like does it emit sound or something?
No, you can't hear it. You can feel it, but
You can
not
feel
in the
it.
way that you
Okay.
think.
Well, it's
Like,
like bass. It's like bass. You don't hear bass, you feel it.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's not like heat. You don't feel heat. You don't feel anything like that. But I did use it. So he gave one to my cousin, but I used it when I visited her. So I don't use it all the time. I wish I could. I wish I could afford one. I can't right
Yeah,
now.
I remember looking at it whenever you posted. I remember looking at it, and they were expensive. I remember, exactly what you're talking about.
They are,
Like,
but I will also say I barely knew him. I know him better now. I met him in person and stuff, but then I barely knew him. He was just a guest on our podcast, and I didn't ask him for one. I asked him if he knew, because he does a lot of medical trials, if he knew a good medical trial to get my cousin in because she was young and had cancer, and his response was, "Send me her address. I'll have a machine sent out tomorrow."
that's awesome.
That was
That's
it.
cool. That's cool. Well,
So,
they say, what they say, and I've been very fortunate that I haven't had to deal with too much cancer in my own personal family and close unit,
yeah.
But what I've heard about it is that it can't live in a alkalized environment,
Yep.
which I
Exactly.
think is something very important that I think they should tell people.
Again, and
But
how
there's no money in it.
back to
There's
school, how often did they tell us about pH balance?
right. Oh
Never.
man.
They
Oh
didn't
man.
teach us anything about that. So there you go. And it's these processed food, just like our thing I love as an example is, I'm sure you're around my age, so you know, eggs. Growing up, eggs. First they were healthy, then they were horrible, they were gonna kill you. Then they were healthy, then they're horrible,
The
they're gonna
whole
kill you.
food guy pyramid. Remember the pyramid?
Yeah, bought and paid for by the fucking food industry. How do
They're
you
like
let
they're
that
like
happen?
eat carbs, eat more carbs. Like what the fuck?
I know, and then carbs are bad, and then this, and then meat is now down here, and
The
all
truth
that.
is it's just like, we need to stick to just, I feel like proteins, just stick to animal proteins. That's what I try to stick to.
I feel like, and I know I'm not the shape of fucking health and perfect. I have
Me
vices,
neither.
and but I know that in a perfect world, if you eat clean foods, that the processing of the foods are the problem. That's
Yeah.
why people used to be way healthier. That's why cancer was lower. That's why diabetes was lower. That's why type 2 diabetes used to be called adult onset diabetes, but now 10-year-olds have it. Like, these things are
Yeah.
because the food that our government has allowed to be sold to us and marketed, with psychologists working with them to know how to manipulate the human brain to say
Well,
certain
it wasn't
things.
that that's like stems from the Edward Bernays shit. Like he
Yes,
used to
exactly. And
like
who owns Netflix? Isn't it
I
his
don't
or
know.
no, wait, that's the other one's descendants. That's Freud's descendants or something. Great grandkids own Netflix.
Tell me about your mother.
Yeah, exactly. So you wanted to have sex with your mother. What, dude? I asked you what time it
What?
is, bro.
Like,
Like,
dude, I just have an alcohol addiction, man. I'm just trying to
I
get some help, dude. Like, what are you
That's
talking
how
about?
it was.
Want
It's
to fuck my
insane.
mom? What are you
So I have a theory about that. Like, you know how when we were younger, we knew about insane asylums and stuff like that, but there were these grand buildings, right? There were these huge fucking giant like, I don't know where you are at on the Tartaria thing and all that. You in there with
I
the
don't really I don't what is Tartaria like exactly? I know it's an ancient
well, Tartaria
lost
was
civilization, but
you
like
can
is it
even
like the
find it
land
on
is it like I know that like there's the lands behind the ice wall? Like is that
no, no,
considered
no, no,
Tartaria or that's
no.
not related? Okay.
No, Tartaria actually, the only place you can find it on maps was in Russia. Russia is the place that used to say Tartaria. but some people say it was a worldwide spread civilization, or some people think that it was just referenced as Tartaria for a lot of things. But there's things that are for certain that it existed, that they were a peaceful people, that um a lot of shit actually. So it's suspected that they actually built the Great Wall of China because the turret spots on the top were actually facing China to fire that way. So why would China make them facing that way? You know, a lot of stuff, weird stuff. But so it's said that Tartaria, just a grand overview. I'm sure someone listening is going to be like, "You're an idiot." And if you want to know, follow Keith K.
Hey,
He has all the
hey,
answers.
hey, guys, start your own podcast and then
Yeah,
talk about
exactly.
it.
But the overview is it was an old civilization that had
Yeah.
free energy, some people say,
Well, that's
and
what
that
Tesla always preached was free energy. You know,
I
like he
think
said.
I think he was a Tartarian or a descendant of. But
You think so?
so
Do you
then
think
that
he's
there
related? Like, do you think Trump took his dad or his uncle's documents? They say,
I
well, John
do.
Trump
I
took. You think?
do. I do think that happened. Yes.
I think so too. You know, and it's interesting to think about. You know, like if what they say is true, that's just wild. Why
Dude,
do why?
you follow
Do you,
Biff Don, right?
yeah, yes, yep.
He puts it all together. I love that dude.
Oh yeah, I've
I
seen.
don't
Yeah,
care if I sound like a bitch praising him. He has broke my mind open so many times where I'm like, I've never fucking thought of that.
you know
So
what? I've seen him connect a lot of dots that you just don't
yeah,
think about. You're like,
yeah,
whoa,
man,
yeah, he's good. I'm
he
glad he
is.
follows me too. Like, you know, he's one of those accounts that you're
Oh,
like,
he's a
oh,
real ass person. That's another thing. When I spoke to him, I've spoken to him a few times, but he's just a regular fucking dude. I have so much respect for him. He's just a cool guy. But anyway, so yeah,
he seems like he
he
would be.
yeah, yeah, he is. But so yeah, a lot of weird shit ties together. But yeah, so that's just the overview of Tartaria, a civilization that was wiped out. But what I was gonna say was, so Tartaria, that ties into resets, and I don't know if you know about the World's Fairs and all that.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So how to me
Chicago.
it's
I was born in Chicago, so yeah,
oh there you da Bears.
yeah. Oh,
So
can you see it? Is there a bear sign? Oh yeah, there's one
yeah,
right here.
I
Yeah.
love it. So yeah, so I have family in Chicago also. It's a great place, and friends in Chicago. It's a great place. But so the World Fairs, they supposedly built these buildings and then destroyed them after, which is absolutely ridiculous. I
Yeah.
think
Why would they do that?
they were already there and they were bringing the people to just like slap them in the face basically and show you this is the civilization that was before you that we're erasing. These are the last pieces of it. We're going to blow it up in front of you after we let you see it and walk around. So I also think back to what originally started this, the old psych wards and all that. There were these grand buildings. I think this is fucking crazy. Call me crazy. I don't care. That the
Can I
people
just
that
call
were
you Ted?
the people that were put in those were the people who wouldn't go along with the reset. They wouldn't say, "Okay, we'll
Hey Ted.
say this."
Hey Ted. Do you want to hear something crazy?
I do. I love hearing
If
crazy things.
Jesus lived today, they would have put him in one of those psych wards.
Yeah,
They'd have been like, you're the son of God. What?
I
Like
mean, that's why the
I'm
Jews
just
killed
saying.
him because they thought
I'm
he was a
just saying.
crazy liar, you know?
Nothing against Jesus. You know.
I used to say that, and it's funny, even my mom used to say that, is that, and there is a fine line. Like, if the people that were alive in the Bible that all Christians believe existed and were talking to God, if they were around today, they would be locked up. If they told you that they were talking to God and God was telling them to do these things, the main staples in the Bible that changed history, they would be locked up and told they were crazy. And there's a
Are
lot of
you are
doctors
you
now.
are you a believer of like when it ties into like religion like that hallucinogenics were a part of it? Like do you like DMT or whatever?
I've never
You know?
done DMT. I can
No, no,
say
I
that.
never have either. But I'm saying
I
like
I
do
would, I
you?
just never have.
Oh, I
But
totally would too. But like what I'm asking is that like, do you think that that had an influence upon like there's a book out there called the it talks about mushrooms in the Bible, sacred um
Oh, so basically, do I think that things like that can bring you closer to a god or a
Well, they
religion
say
or
that ancient religious historians or whatever the fuck the word is,
yeah.
they think that that these people did a lot of hallucinogenics back in the day, and it was the dimethyltryptamine which they would do through the ayahuasca, and they would mix it with wine, and
I
like
do believe
for example, like the story of the burning bush, Moses, they say, was just a DMT trip.
it could have
You know?
been, but that doesn't really
and
change it.
like and
But,
like so and like okay, another thing is that like the Vatican, like that there's they have a big pine cone
I know.
representation.
Dude, I can't even get started on the pine cones, man. That's
Yeah,
another fucking
well,
one that I don't know.
that's because it's ties to the pineal gland. That's what it's all about. Is that third eye right there?
Dude, they're pushing right now to get fluoride out of all the water in Florida.
Dude, I
That'd
just
be
heard.
so awesome.
Dude, it's done, isn't it? Settled now. I
Well,
just heard that they were
it's
doing
out
that.
of a lot of counties, but they're right
I
now
think
in
I
the
think Utah did the
legislature's
same thing.
meeting.
I
They
think Utah
should.
just did the same
It's
thing.
and I love hearing that people are actually speaking up about it, saying, like, first of all, I don't think that there should be any fluoride, that we should be having any fluoride, period.
Ted,
That's it.
what's worse? You know what's worse than the fluoride? The atrazine that's in it.
Well, that's where I'm going. So it's not even so there is elemental fluoride. It does exist. But what they're putting in our water is not
It's rat
elemental fluoride.
poison. It's rat
It's
poison.
it's a byproduct from the aluminum industry that if you go back and look at the history,
Ugh.
they used to have to pay high dollar amounts to store this stuff in secure places because it's known to be toxic. Somehow, I don't remember the exact happenings, but you can go fucking look it up. It's there. They'll tell you because they always fucking put it in your face. Somehow, they passed a law where it was okay to sell it to cities and put it in the water. So now the aluminum industry has this out where they don't have to, not only do they not have to pay to store this toxic stuff, they're making money off it by selling it to the government. So some fucking high up scumbag made this deal happen knowing exactly what was doing. And I have worked in government water plants and I have seen the pipes feeding it that say fluoride, um, chlorine, all this stuff they're putting in our water. Tons of stuff. Some names I didn't even know. And it's insane that they allow this. It's insane that they allow food sold here that aren't allowed to be sold in other countries. It's like they want us dead.
Well, they
Want
no, they
us
don't.
weak.
Yes, weak is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Weak.
They want
They
us
don't want
weak
to
and
say. They want
pliable.
to. They still want to make money off of you. like
Yeah, there's the target.
if you're dead, they don't make money from
They
you.
don't want you
It's
well
well,
and happy.
it's like the argument for fixing homelessness. There's no money in resolving it
Yeah.
because they get paid based on how many homeless people they help. So every year they want more money too because they have to make a profit.
Dude, so one
You
year
know?
my county in South Florida had this great idea. I'm probably doxing myself here. That the key to solving homelessness here was they were offering them free bus tickets to anywhere they wanted to go. So that was their solution. They looked over it and decided it was cheaper to offer them bus tickets somewhere else than to help them.
Listen, I gotta be honest. If I'm a city planner, it seems like a good plan.
Yeah,
because because basically you're shipping the problem away at a reasonable cost.
they all
A
came
bus
back though.
a bus ticket is nothing for them to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like a bus ticket's nothing.
Here's the
But
thing,
but
but
these
I even
they're
blame
just talking about California has wasted how many billions of fucking dollars? It's nuts the amount that they have
it's
lost.
they're getting ready to start building tiny units here for homeless people. That's their new solution. They're like 8 by
Is it?
10 that have a sink, a toilet, a bed, and that's it. And here's the thing, for some people that will benefit them. That will give them a place to shower and hopefully find a job and then they'll move out. But the other people that are going to be there are going to ruin it for everybody. I guarantee you.
Well,
And
you
I'm
know,
saying this that I can honestly call a couple homeless people friends because I help them all the time. I have long fucking conversations with them and amazing conversations. But they tell me about the other homeless people. So there's two types. There's the people who have had a long run. Well, there's probably more than two, but the two main I've had is the people who've had a long run of bad luck, lived with family, family died, there was nothing left, lost the house, don't know what to do.
the
They're
asylum
too
closed.
they're too old to yeah, they're too old to work. Social Security doesn't cover shit
Yeah,
anymore. They
it
they don't
doesn't.
want to live at the homeless shelters because there's crazy fucking people there.
Well, people
And
have
then
pride too. They
yeah,
don't want.
and then the other people are actually mentally ill people that have serious problems that need to be addressed in some way, and the addressing them is just they're out on the street now. So there's an array of people, but it's a hard problem to tackle, that's for sure. But
Yeah,
I
I
blame
think
all this on what they've done to us. They've
I.
caused this.
So, what do you think about Doge, man? Like, what's your honest opinion about what Doge is doing? I
Dude, I'm actually glad you asked this. So, a
okay.
couple things. So, again, first of all, let me preface this. Are we talking within the movie, or are we talking that we
With
think
what
it's
movie?
the movie of
The one that
fucking
NASA's
life, man?
still making.
Yeah, exactly. The movie that we're all watching because we know everything
Yeah,
on
I
TV
mean,
is
I
fake. But
guess, yeah, that's what we all see and claim
yes,
to be
so
real.
I
Like,
think that finding fraud in the government is always a good thing, and I think that anybody who has a problem with that has a problem with it for a reason because they don't want it to be found out what they're doing, period. If
yeah,
someone comes into my job and says we're gonna look for all theft and we're gonna see this, I'm gonna go awesome, go ahead, because I have nothing to worry about. So the people who have a problem with it are the people who have something to worry about, whoever that may be, or they're just puppets that are following the narrative that, like, let's hate Elon because this. It's absolutely absurd and
it
ridiculous.
it well, everybody's controlled at every level. It's just nuts. Like the
Yeah,
people we
it's
think are in
insane.
charge are also controlled by somebody else.
Yeah,
Like I
I
think
know.
you said something about that earlier tonight. It's, it's like, how do we win? What do we do? What's
Oh,
the
I have
answer?
the I
What's the
have the
answer?
answer.
Okay,
I
I'm
have the
I'm
answer
ready.
for you.
Let me hear it.
If you want to partake in any of that, you have to know that everything you're seeing on TV, hearing on the radio, anywhere on the internet, all of that is out there to influence you to some ends. It's not
That
genuine.
I agree with 100,000
Yes.
percent. I've grown up around the entertainment industry my whole life, so I can
Yeah.
vouch for that.
So that's step one, is you have to understand that. Step two is you have to focus on the things in your own life and compare that to what you're seeing in the media and say, is that really happening here? Do I know anybody that this is affecting? If it is, then you react one way. If it's not, then you blow it off as something else. But you have to realize that I don't care if everything gets amazing. I don't care if everything gets horrible and we go to a civil war. I don't care if there's another COVID scare. I don't care about any of that. No matter what happens in that way, the answer is always the same. Pay attention and give love to the people around you who are important to you and let them know they're important to you, because no matter what happens, those are the people you're going to need. So the
Well,
answer always comes back to that.
that's like, it's like, I feel the same way. And what it's about tribal. It's about who's a part of your tribe.
Mhm.
And that's what like it's gonna boil down to. You know, that's really the way that it should be. Like back in the day, people didn't care. Like if you like say you were a member of a tribe and you had a kid with them, and then you guys broke up or whatever, they wanted you to get with another member of the same tribe. They
Yeah.
didn't want you to, leave that circle.
Yeah.
So it's just thing to think about, because that's what it really boils down to is just being around the ones around you and who you love. Like, because at the end of the day, that's all you can count on.
It really is. And it's all, I also think that those people aren't in your, I don't think you're here by accident. I don't think anything happens by accident.
No, no,
I
it's all,
think,
it's all, you can, some people say it's by divine, religion, like this is God's way or it was meant to be this way. Or there's like a matrix that, or some kind of creator or whatever, a simulation or something, and I think that that's the same thing,
yeah,
you
I do.
know,
I think
like,
so. Here's my view on the simulation and all of that and manifesting everything. Because I do believe, I actually scratch that. I don't believe that manifesting works. I know it works.
it
I have
definitely
lived
does.
it. Yes, I have
Are you,
lived it.
do you do grounding too?
I ground before every episode. I ground
Do you
every
really?
day, dude. I
There you
literally
go.
probably have dirty feet right now because I make sure to get my feet in the dirt. I don't just walk on grass. I lay in
Well,
the grass,
I
but
would too, but we got fucking scorpions, so I
oh, you do. That's right. I
gotta.
never saw a scorpion in my
Yeah.
life till I lived in Vegas. It's crazy. They're
Oh,
everywhere.
that's brutal. Well, you know what it is we have palm trees, and they're attracted to palm
Oh, we have
trees.
tons of palm trees, but they
Oh,
also don't like humidity, so that's why you
yeah.
have them and we don't. But yeah, so no, I ground all the time. All that. It's just like they try to like think about this. I don't want to go into grounding too much. We all know it works. If you don't, go look up the studies. Doctors admit it does. But think about the average person, right? They get up in the morning, they get out of bed, they put on slippers or flip-flops. I don't know what other people do other places. It's always hot here, so we're always wearing sandals of
They
some
have
sort.
Diet Cokes and coffees and shit.
Yeah. So, oh, that too. That's a whole nother thing. But so they get out of bed, they put on slippers or something, or they live in a house that's a concrete pad and all that. They put on shoes before they go outside. They go into their car that has rubber tires. They go take that to a parking garage made out of concrete. Go into their office. They have these shoes on the whole time. They come back home. They get in the shower, take their shoes off. They put on some slippers or sandals. They
So
never,
it sounds like
ever.
jail. It sounds like county jail, if
Oh,
I'm being
that
honest.
too. But they never come into contact with the earth.
Yeah,
Even
that's
when they go
terrible.
to a park, they have shoes on. When they walk their dogs, they have shoes on. People
Well,
need to take
they're
off their
terrible for your
shoes.
feet. Yeah, like it's not good for you to
Oh, that
like. We're not
okay.
designed like to wear these things. Yeah, like shoes might help you run, but they're not what you're supposed to be wearing.
Yeah.
You
The
know, like
one thing I'm happy about shoes for is I wear steel toe boots to work because I do construction shit and
dude,
it
you know
saved
what?
me a few
I
times,
just
dude.
found a pair of Doc Martens in storage the other day. I was so happy. I've had them
I
since I
love
was
Docs.
I probably had them since I was like 16 or
I've
17.
been
I'm so
like
happy.
Docs and Dickies my whole life. That's
Oh,
me,
yeah, there you
man.
go.
That's how I roll. But
Yeah,
no,
man.
man, it's crazy how they try to cut us off from everything. And for people, okay, here's a halfway thing. If
It's
you
about
if
it all boils down to control. It's about fucking controlling you.
it does. And if you don't want to take off your shoes when you walk your dog or something, most people never talk about this. This is why people used to use walking sticks when they were walking in rough terrain and had to wear something. They still wanted to ground. If you have a wooden walking stick, it's touching the ground. You're grounding while you're walking
Interesting.
with
So
shoes on.
you can still when you're using it with your hand or whatever, you can still get the vibration
Yeah,
from it. Or
as
wow.
long as you're discharging into the earth somehow. It's like
Okay,
hugging a tree as you're walking. Even a metal one works. The metal ones, you're grounding around your shoes.
that's
So,
interesting. You kind of make me want to get a cane, Ted.
oh, a pimp cane.
A
I could
wood
see
one.
it with the poop emoji on top. I could see it. I
Dude,
love it.
I was just talking to my buddy in Vegas, and he's like, "Yo, dude, next time you come to Vegas, you gotta go to Pink Donuts and get the poop donut. Like, I guess they have a poop emoji donut."
Oh, there you go. That's all you, man. So, what do you think? I know we kind of got off track, but I'm still on it. What do you think this global fund is all about? What do you think they're saving this gold for?
Well, control. We were just saying it's about control and controlling the people. Like I believe that this gold probably is out there. You know,
Oh,
I mean,
I know they have gold that we don't know about. I've just never
yeah,
heard of it
it's
in
like,
this
and
specific fund that's to help the
it
people, of course.
yeah, it was so there was like a Chinese organization of people that they call the Dragon Family, which
Okay.
is not a family, by the way. They're not like
Yeah.
family like we think of family. It was like a group of Chinese rich motherfuckers, basically, and they are the ones that supposedly owned all of this. And there's like, if you remember hearing, there was some stories that came out like maybe 15 or 20 years ago about like people finding like bonds that were worth billions and billions of
Yes.
dollars,
I do
And
remember.
there's a few cases, like I think there was probably three or four of them, I think, that were real big. Um, but they think that this is the same money, that's just been moving around.
Hmm.
And what's down in Antarctica? Is that where all of this money is? Are they storing gold down there? I don't know.
Who
Uh,
knows?
it,
They're storing it
so
somewhere. You know they have it. I'm
it's got to be
interested to see what
somewhere.
happens
I
with Fort
tell you
Knox.
where. I'll tell you where it's not. Is Fort Knox.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you know, but
Anybody who doesn't know what taking us off the gold standard did, please look into it. We're
1972, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard and fucked us. And that's what
yeah,
they say kind of ties into this too, is like with Kennedy being killed, he, if you remember, started the silver certificates back in the day. And
yes.
so like that ties into some of this stolen money here. And so that's why maybe he was taken out through them. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, you know.
Just a realist that looks at
But
shit that's happened and says, something's weird about this.
something's going on here.
Yeah, it
But
is.
it's just wild. Yeah, 1972. You know what's crazy? What they say back then, 1972, when Nixon did that, took us off of the gold standard. They said that the average worker could earn an ounce of gold per week. Think about like back then. Back then, I think it was like $200 or $300. I think is what that was the equivalent to. Now, if you think about what an ounce of gold is, was it 3,000 or something?
Yeah.
I think
Yep, it's around there
that's
somewhere.
it's so that's pretty wild to think how much it's just devalued since then. And there's other agreements that were made in the 40s too, like the Bretton Woods agreements that tie into the story too, which is when like the IMF and the Bank of Massachusetts, all these big banks started popping up. Was that they decided how they were going to base the currencies.
Yeah.
Like but this, it's sad because I really know if this $1 trillion lawsuit that Neil Keenan filed, I don't know if it ever concluded. I don't really know what happened with it. I'll post the links to the court documents and stuff. Like I'll send them all to you. Um, but I know that he till the end, was still fighting it. You know,
Yeah, I'll put it all in
it's
there, but there's a lot of weird shit like that, man. Like people who actually try to fight it and the courts just keep it wrapped up forever intentionally. They're all part of the system, man. It's
well,
I don't know how you get justice.
that's why Bitcoin can never work, right? Because it's just like you're fighting the system,
Yeah,
right?
I don't even like again, I don't want to get into it too much. I don't even understand where Bitcoin comes from, how it has any value. I know they mine it and it takes a lot of like I don't
I
from
yeah,
where?
I don't get
What
I don't
I
understand the
don't
mining of it. I don't get that.
yeah, I don't know. It's all weird, but who cares anyway? To me, the bottom line is and I'm not saying it's worse than having your money in a bank because it's all the same shit to me. If you have fiat currency representation of
I'm
digital
glad you
ones
used
and
that word
zeros,
fiat, dude, because that's what it is, fiat. I love
yeah,
that you
it
said that.
means nothing. So
Right.
And then once it's in your bank, it's not even that. It's a
Right.
digital representation of a fiat currency that never existed to begin with. So either way, whichever one of those you have,
And the bank is
the
making
minute
10 times the amount
yeah,
on
they
what
can
you
loan
have.
out $10 for every dollar they have or whatever.
It's really a fucked
It's
up system.
completely fake. But either way, once they shut the power off, if they do, your money in the bank's gone and your Bitcoin's gone. The only thing that's going to matter at that point for a short time, the US dollar will still matter because that's all people are going to know. They're going to know this is $1. That's a representation to me. I know that.
You
But
hope
eventually,
so.
no, I
You
mean,
hope so.
if everything shut down and we were in fucking apocalypse thing where there's different factions and there's a town here, people would still possibly use dollars just as a representation.
Well,
But
that's the argument too. It's like, do you put all your money in gold? Like, let's say you buy a bunch of fucking gold and you got your money in gold. Well, I can't buy a loaf of bread with a brick of gold.
no, I
You know what
know.
I mean? So
I
it's like, so
think
that then there's the argument for the other things like silver and copper and
well, I got an argument for you. How about raising animals and growing food?
that's too much work, man.
That's
I want a member of my tribe to do that, and then
Allie's doing it. Allie's
I
doing
will-
it for all of us, bro. She is the botanist of our
She's pretty fascinating. I want to
our
try to grow
compound
some
we're gonna
peppers.
start.
I wanna look at that seed place that she mentioned and see about growing some like
Dude,
peppers,
she's awesome.
like
So
jalapenos or
I'd love
something.
it if you'll show up for the thing, the Q&A, if you have the time. It's gonna be
Sure.
Wednesday night. We're gonna
This
so
time,
we're
let me know.
we're gonna take questions in the comments, but we'll see. We might also hand out the link and have some people up to in real time ask questions. So, but also aside from all that, not trying to push us, I'm sure if you message her, she'll tell you how to grow a fucking pepper immediately. She has sent me so much stuff, so much info, so many shirts, all this stuff just because we're friends. Like she's such an awesome person. She's so
Yeah.
not about the money,
She
not about
seemed cool. Like I'm just listening to
Yeah.
her podcast. She seemed really cool.
Yeah, she's
I'm glad
awesome.
we connected because I never would have heard from her. Except you posted something, and then I was like, I wonder why she blocked me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, what the fuck? But
She didn't even know.
Cool.
No, I'm glad it got worked out. But
yeah, so and she said like I never even heard of you.
why would I block a poop? That's not good for the system.
It's not good for the system.
You don't want to do that.
That's funny.
So remember when we were talking about that? We're not there yet, but remember when you were talking about like, oh, I don't know how we're gonna do 2 hours.
I know.
We're at 1 hour and 46 minutes. So
I know.
I just want to make sure that there's nothing else that you wanted to bring up that was important to you that you didn't want to forget, because once the conversations roll into the end, we're gonna forget it. So
I think we're tight, man. I just I want to show a lot of love to the Bootsang clan. Follow all my people, man. El Poopy, La Poopy, Pooty P, my boy Pooty P, the Poo True Patriot is his name. He dude, he'll get real political with you, and he's a really articulate, like I love him. And like these are my friends in real life too. Like they're not just people that I met, online. So, the real Mr.
Sometimes those
Krabby's
people become your real friends though, man. I got a few.
Yeah. So yeah, give all of the Bootsang clan a follow, man. They're great people. They talk about everything. Like I said, I'm trying to get some podcasts of my own in the works. I don't know what's gonna materialize. Like I said, we got the sports one with Hey Would You Blow Me? So we'll see what happens there. And then I got some poop stuff that I want to try to do too. So I'll talk to you more about that later.
It'll be super creative.
Yeah.
I love how you work.
Well,
that
what's really cool? What's really cool is I just reconnected with a buddy of mine who's a DJ in Las Vegas. He was a DJ on a radio station up there, and
nice.
He used to bring me on the radio back in the 1900s when we used to hang out.
In the 1900s.
So I just I reconnected with him, and we're talking about doing something too. So because he's always been like a host, so
He's got that
just
energy, I'm sure.
yeah, he's got the gift of gab, the talker.
Yeah, like you
So
don't.
son, you know what, man, Ted? I'll be honest, man. I don't always have it. I had to have 10 shots of whiskey before I could talk to you today, because
You know what's funny is most people that have met me in my life, like once I become friends with them and know them, it's different. But most people who have met me, they always say two things. First, it's you're so quiet. Then it's
well, yeah, well, that makes me nervous at the same time.
yeah. Then it's the second is you're such an asshole. But
Well,
then we're
I
best
get that.
friends after that.
I get that a lot too.
Yeah, I will admit my humor is raw and I will talk shit on people I care about and I will give it to them and I want it back and I take it back, but it's all in love. I always tell people if I don't make fun of you at all, it means I don't like you because you're not worth
Right.
my time to even craft a joke to make you laugh or
Yeah.
fuck with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You
it's like
get
I
it.
was saying. Yeah, totally. It's like I was saying. Like I'm always on, and it's like that from the moment I wake up too. Like I don't drink coffee. I can't. Like
I
like
make
if I
jokes
have if I
at
have
my
coffee, Ted,
wife before the lights are on.
yeah, and
You don't
that's
do
what's so
coffee at all?
not nothing.
So
Like
what do you do to get going?
you don't know what I do?
Oh,
I smoke a bowl.
yeah. I mean,
That's it. That's it, man. You know what? That's all I need is just to take that edge off of. So I have a routine. It's like I smoke, and it's the first about 30 minutes are from me. I don't fucking talk to no one. I just enjoy that first hit of weed, and that's for me.
yeah.
I take that 30 minutes, and then I can just start handling business. You know what I mean?
Dude, for me, what it is, and people can talk all the shit they want because I used to also. Again, my hands say drug free. I used to be straight edge for a long time because of people I saw acting certain ways. For me, personally, my brain is always going
Yeah, me too.
1,000 miles an hour. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about that. I'm laying in bed trying to fall asleep. I'm thinking about now it's what am I gonna say to this guest? What video am I gonna make? Am I gonna do this? Plus, I work a fucking full-time job. I have
Yeah.
a wife. I take care of a house. I
I
take
wish
care of
I had that
pets.
distraction. I mean, like, wish I had a full time job to just distract me to take me away from that. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what I
uh,
mean. So I smoke a little weed and it brings me down to where other people are. Not quite to,
right?
NPC. It's just I slow down a little bit and then I can look at each thing and process it individually instead of going from this, this, my stream of consciousness just all over the place because that's how I am. And it's
Yeah.
not, I mean, I've never been diagnosed or anything with like ADD or all over the place, but
I
I'm
think
always
I think I
thinking.
have like some like kind of like OCD or something. I really think I might,
Oh,
because I
so
really like
I don't,
what I tend to do is I tend to just overthink everything. Like everything that's gonna happen, I've already thought about 100 times. I've
yeah,
already played out the scenario in my head 100 times, probably. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
then it's like even just like so my roommate is in Mexico right now, and I had to take her to the airport, and it's just like it was really early in the morning, which I'm not like a morning or afternoon person. It doesn't matter to me. But
Yeah.
just like the thought of having to do that was like just giving me the like anxiety. So just knowing that I have to deal with that. So it was rough drive there and back. But it's because I was obsessing about it in my own mind. Like if I would just not have been thinking about things, it
Dude, that's what
completely
it
different.
is. I
It's
have
just like
anxiety when I go to the fucking post office because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pass the train tracks. What if a flat tire? I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about that. I know this. I'm always thinking about everything, everything. It's
so
insane.
so let's tie back into Vegas real quick. So um Vegas has a history of mafia mob connection to
Yeah,
shit. So some people I grew up with, I remember my buddy's dad who lived that kind of life. um I would have conversations with him, and he would never shop at the grocery store by his house. Like he would always drive to the opposite end of town to go to the grocery store just to make sure nobody followed him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like,
I
yeah,
did some work for some of those people, man. They're
I was just like,
eccentric
wow,
motherfuckers.
yeah, yeah. You know, you meet some characters, you know, especially like I don't know if you've ever been around a pool hall. Like you meet a lot of interesting
Yeah.
characters in a pool hall.
Dude, do you ever go to First Fridays? Does that still happen, or did that end
In
because of COVID?
Vegas, in
Yeah.
Vegas, no, they still do it, I believe. I
I
never,
met the dude from ZZ Top there. It was awesome because
um,
he lives in Vegas. I forget Brian something. I forget his name.
Billy
Billy, that's it.
Gibbons.
That's
Yeah,
it, Billy. I knew it was a B.
we
Yeah, I
used to go
met
to
him
parties
there. It
at
was cool.
we used to go to parties at Siegfried and Roy's house back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do you like
I
the
mean,
tigers?
you know what's so funny? So you remember when he got mauled by the tiger? Remember
Yeah.
that? Well, I remember I was bartending at a pool hall that night, and we were already telling the joke. How do you turn a fruit into a vegetable?
Mm, mm.
Feed him to a tiger.
Bro,
I mean,
I forgot about
brutal.
that till you just
That's
said it.
fucking brutal. But the night that happened, like literally 30 minutes after it happened, we were telling that joke.
Those honestly, I know I will get shit for this. That's my people. That's how I am. The thing too soon means nothing to me. The term embarrassed means nothing to me. The fucking term offended, I don't even know. When people say the word offended,
You know
I
what's
don't
funny?
understand that emotion. I don't. I don't know
You know
what
what?
offended means.
You know what's funny is, and he's not going to listen to this at all. But my own stepbrother, just the other day, told me he's like, "Hey, you know I'm gay, right?" And I'm like, "I've known you for 30 fucking years, man. What?"
like
Like,
like I've known you were gay the whole time.
30 fucking years. I'm like, well, because, like we hadn't talked for a while,
Yeah.
because our parents had split, but I'm like, do I not know you're gay? What the fuck are you talking about? Like you were kicked out of the fucking military. And that's not fucking personal information. He did an interview on CBS. Like, you could pull it up.
Dude, that's
He
crazy.
talks about it.
I have a very similar story, but it wasn't on CBS, so I'll tell you
I'm like,
after.
what the
But
fuck?
dude, it's an insane world
What's
we're
going
in.
on with
So
your cough there, man? You got the fucking whooping cough or what?
no, so I was remodeling an apartment this
You
weekend,
got the
and
asbestos then?
I know I didn't wear a mask when I was doing the grout, and when you mix the grout and then the drywall, they're like fine powders, and it was fucking crazy
Oh,
in
yeah.
there, and it was bad. It was bad. So it's that,
Ugh.
and I have a fan on that's drying me out, but I'm always hot, so I gotta, you
The
know,
fans really will do that to you, you know?
they will,
I
and
like I
and it
can't have
seems
my
to be
window open
always
with the
when
fan
I'm
on.
here sitting, but
Yeah.
whatever, we'll live. People can fucking listen to me cough, or they can suck my dick. But so
Listen to you
I
cough,
know
if that's all right.
something I have to ask you about, so we make sure you get the Monday spot. So,
Okay.
what's
Oh,
up
hey,
with
well, no,
Val
listen.
Kilmer's death, bro?
So here, look at this Telly TV right here. Can you see the date, or is
I
my
can
name
barely
blocking it?
see it.
Well, it
I
says
mean, I
today's
can't
date.
read it, but it's tiny on my screen.
Shout out
So.
to Telly TV. Let's all get fucking free TVs from this company, Telly TV.
Oh,
They're giving
Telly
away.
TV.
They said they're giving away 250,000 of them. I had totally forgot that I signed up for this thing, and they sent me one, and it's fucking amazing. It's got 2 screens, sound bar, and like get all these, like you can control
2
these
screens?
widgets. Yeah, can you see? I don't know where you can see, but
I
like
can
it's
see
great.
the
The
I
great
can
part
see
is
a
the
bottom
sound bar.
screen down there, but I thought it was something totally different. That's all
No,
one unit.
it's all one unit. This is a sound bar, the gray part in the middle. Here,
Wow.
there's a camera. I was gonna try to call you from the camera on here today, but it just doesn't. You can only do Zoom from this camera for some reason.
Oh.
You know what else I was gonna do? Is I was gonna do the podcast from the toilet today. I thought about
I'm
moving
glad
like
you decided against
I'm
that.
glad I'm glad I did too. Like I was gonna move the whole computer into the fucking bathroom just to do it.
The big thing that would have been the problem was the echo. It would have been a
Yes,
bad
yes,
echo because
exactly.
bathrooms always echo bad with all the
I
tile.
That's exactly why I didn't do it. I was like,
But
shit.
so what's up with Val Kilmer's death, bro? What's going on with that?
I
You
think
think
he
there's
was just
anything
old.
weird around it? You think he's just
No,
old? The only
no.
things that I think are weird
I think
are,
he was. I think he was a very interesting person. I think I would have loved to have, had lunch with him or something.
oh,
Someone
for sure.
I would love to talk to him. He's one of those people. I guess was a method actor or whatever. And he just really he seems interesting. Like I would really like to talk to him. You remember when he did the Doors movie?
Yeah.
They say he was in a trance for like a long time or something, where he thought he was Jim Morrison or something.
Yeah, he's one of those. So that's the thing. So as a regular person, he was
What the fuck is a regular person?
so that's the thing I'm saying. As a regular person, a member of society that watches TV and follows along with everything and thinks that everything we're told is true. I'm
Do
saying
you, do,
as
to be honest, do you have a Peacock account?
I don't even know what that is.
I think it's NBC's app or
Oh,
whatever.
no, I don't. I do have ones I shouldn't. I have a Paramount one because I
Oh,
order shit
that's even
because I
worse.
order shit from Walmart, so it comes free. And I have an Amazon one because I order shit from Amazon and it comes free. But
I'm gonna end this podcast because I'm so embarrassed for you that you shop at Walmart and you just admit it. Please cut that out of this podcast.
yeah, right, bro. I will say the Walmarts in Florida suck. The ones I went on tour were like way bit different. I don't know what
Publix,
they are
man.
now.
Publix is where I want to go when I'm in
Oh,
Florida.
I fucking love
Publix, they got
Publix.
the best fried fucking chicken ever, dude.
Publix is awesome. And when I grew up, I thought Publix was everywhere because I grew up in Florida. I just assumed that was the grocery store everywhere. And then you
Nope,
go other
nope, it's
places
only
and they're
there.
like, "What?" I know. Well, actually now finally they've expanded to Georgia and South Carolina.
Uh-oh,
But yeah,
did Georgia finally win enough football games against Florida or something?
they're
How did
growing. But so yes, as a regular person or whatever you want to call it, he was in a lot of
I
movies
don't like the
and
term normal either. Okay, just so you know.
as a if I was looking at this as an NPC, let's just say from my childhood, he was in a lot of movies that were cool to me. A lot. He was in tons of fucking movies. I remember one of my brother's favorite movies was Top Secret, and that was his very
Oh yeah,
first movie.
dude, I'm so glad that's what you just said because that's what I was just thinking. That was a great one. Top
It
Secret
was. It was
was a
amazing.
fantastic one. I might watch that tonight. Actually, that's a good movie.
But so from that perspective, I'm sad that he's gone, and anybody dying is sad, whether he was part of
course.
Hollywood and whatever you think of Hollywood or not.
I
But
gave him the Golden Poop Award, and that was out of love. Like I mean, I try to be nice with this Golden Poop Award thing that I've been doing on my page. Like, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Some people think it's offensive. Like, what's so funny is like when I give it to Antonio Brown, people thought that I was just like hating on him because he gives the N word of the day award.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And like people were giving me shit because they thought I was mad that he didn't give me the award or something. I was like, whatever. I was just trying to be nice and say something nice about the guy. You know what I mean? Like
Y'all took it the wrong way.
But he shared it and it was great, he appreciated it.
So if we want to look at the Val Kilmer before we wrap up, let's look at it from a conspiracy perspective for 1 minute, because you know how much we love those.
He is the real Jim Morrison. Is that what? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just saying.
It's hold on a second. Let's pause for a second. Did you hear? They say that there's a guy that lived in Buffalo that is Jim Morrison lived out his life in Buffalo.
He may have.
I just read this the other day too. I'm sorry to just cut you off like that.
No. So there's a lot of weird shit about him. I don't know what with Jim Morrison or anything like that, but I do know that he was in one of the biggest, like anti-war bands ever.
About his dad too,
that's
right?
what I was gonna say. And his dad was on the ship that the false flag was on that started the Vietnam War. Right. So there's obviously some strange ties there.
Yeah. What was that? I forget the name of it. Operation. Help me out.
I do too.
It's not. It's yeah.
I don't remember, but you can look it up. Just type in the bomb, the ship that got bombed that started the Vietnam War. It was
Gulf of Tonkin. Is it the Gulf of Tonkin?
It's one of
Oh,
those.
is
I
that the
can't
Gulf of
remember for
Tonkin?
sure. I
I
don't
think
want to say for sure.
I was gonna say I think Gulf of Tonkin might be the Vietnam War.
It might
But
be, but
yeah,
so either way, I'm not saying that, but that's its whole own weird thing. There's fucking conspiracy around anything. But let's just say, so Val Kilmer was in a movie called Top Secret. Then he was in Top Gun. He played whatever what was it, Doc Holliday in Tombstone, which is a fucking amazing movie.
never
That's a
saw it.
great one.
But you know what's crazy
Go
is that
watch it.
you want to hear something crazy? Is when I remember when I was a kid, I went camping and hunting while they were filming Tombstone in Arizona. Um,
And you haven't watched it? Go watch that in memory of him.
I've
Fuck,
never seen it.
you've seen Top Secret. It's a great one.
Seen Top
Watch
Secret.
that
I've seen
too. But
Top Gun.
go watch
Oh,
Tombstone, dude.
Is Top Gun a
It's
secret
amazing.
gay love story?
I don't know. But so yeah, here's the thing. He was in a lot of weird ones. But here's the things that strike me as weird is he's always been kind of outside. You never heard anything about him in Hollywood. There was never any drama around him. And the other things that are weird also is he happened to be born on New Year's Eve and he died on April Fool's Day. Those are both weird things to me. They're weird.
When you say New Year's Eve, is that March 31st or is that
Well, on the Gregorian, no,
I'm
on
sure we're going
December
to the same
31st. Son of a bitch, you got me. But
yeah,
no, so there's always ways to look at everything.
so
But I
so
do.
so
It is
like
sad
what
he's
what do
gone.
you think? Like what do you think? Like there's something going on with Val Kilmer that we should
Oh, I
look
don't
out
know.
for?
There's always so I don't necessarily think that, but something to leave you with before because we're over 2 hours. Something to leave you with. You know about the 20? What is it? The 23, 27 club? Which is it? I always forget. 27 club, right?
27.
So I have this theory that 27 is the age when you have to renew your contract with the devil. And that's why so many people die or fall off at that point because they saw some shit. They said, I'm not ready to do that. I'm not renewing it. And at 27 is when they die somehow because of that.
Well, yeah, that's
Boom.
interesting because like when you talk about things like numerology and stuff, 27 adds up to 9, which is like a number of like endings or something, right?
Yeah,
Like,
because 10's the perfect number. So 9, which is why they
yeah.
use it in 9/11
Well,
because
it's
it's
like,
around the
well,
perfect number, all that.
but also it could be a good thing too because if you think about like if you've ever been a video game player, you meet the most resistance when you're trying to advance to the next level.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing in life. I feel like
Oh, yeah.
you always meet the most resistance when you're trying to move up. It's like when
I'm living that right now, man.
Yeah.
You're speaking to my soul, bro.
Thank you, but it's the truth.
It
That's
is
how
the
it
truth.
is.
That's why it's hitting me. It's 100% truth. If you just stay and dwell in your same position and do the same thing all the time, what resistance are you gonna find?
Right.
Nothing. Because
Dude, it's funny. It's funny. I was trying to find some inspiration before we recorded today. And do you remember Buzz Lowerman? Do you remember who that is?
No, I don't actually.
I'll send you a link. I don't know really what he was, if he was like a motivational speaker maybe or something, but he put out a song in the 1900s.
Okay.
And I think it's called Everybody Wears Sunscreen or something like that. And it's really just this motivational track that just tells you, to face your fears and to just live every day like it's your last and just to do it.
That's not that song that and never forget to wear
They
sunscreen.
play it
Is
at a
that
lot.
it?
Yes, everybody wears sunscreen. They play it
Yeah,
at a lot
it
of
was graduations and shit
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
graduations.
Oh, that's
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and admit it hits you hard, man. It really does because it's just a speech by him and they put some music over it,
Okay, so yeah, I don't really know a lot about the dude, but it's like I listened to that song today, and it was really cool because he says something in it where he goes, "Do something every day that you fear." Is like one of
I
the
love
lines.
that.
Yeah, so it's like that's what I did today. By
Dude, we're
talking to
talking
you.
right now, not only because of you, so you're me 2 years ago now. We're talking because I overcame a fear. in school, I was never the one to talk in front of people and to do projects. I was like, I'll do all the work if you fucking talk. I don't care. Like, I hate talking in front of people. I always have. I'm not one to start conversations with somebody in the line at the grocery store. That's not me. But that was my fear. And I'm like, I love talking to people once I get to know them, but I need to talk to people I don't know at all. So that's
Yeah,
why I even did this. And you said you overcame your fear today. So that's why, yes, shit like that's important. It's important
it
to
is. It's
challenge
just,
yourself.
yeah, do it. Face that fear because it's like an old Tony Robbins expression. Fear is just false expectations appearing real.
Yep,
You know.
it is. That's all it is. All of it. Fear lowers your vibration. Fear does all of that. Fear causes cancer, if you ask me. Like
I
it,
agree with that totally, and it's the same thing with projecting negativity too.
yeah,
Like if you just automatically are going to project negativity and think that something bad is going to happen, like, oh, I'm going to go here, something bad's going to happen, then that's
it's
it's
gonna
probably going to
happen.
happen. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it
Like if
is.
that's what you're always thinking about and projecting, then you're manifesting that. You know.
I've even gone the other way. I've gone so far as, and this is a real story. You can ask Bill if you ever talk to him. Um, if I go out, it happened to me one day. I went outside and I got a flat tire before work. It was completely flat. And the old me would have been pissed. It would
Right.
have ruined my whole entire day. And you know what I did? And I was so happy. I was like, maybe if this was fine, I would have gotten a car accident on the way to work. And I went and got my air compressor, plugged it in, put some air in, found the thing, plugged it, took me about 15 minutes. I went on with my day and I never let it get me mad. And who knows? I could have died in a car accident. You don't know. You never
Yeah.
know. Like, just roll with the punches. Just go
Yeah.
with what comes at you.
I'm not trying to quote Tony Robbins too much, but like another thing that he said was that, like, when he lost his businesses, he would talk about like like people would ask questions about, like, oh man, we lost this business, what do we do now? Like they're just asking the wrong questions. It's like you need to ask the right questions. Like it's not about how can we have prevented this. It's what do we do now to build moving forward. It's not what can we do to fix what already happened, but what do we do to move forward.
This is why I firmly believe that every conversation that we have is for a reason, because it's probably not even the way you're saying it and meaning it, but it's hitting me in an exact place that I needed to hear what you just said. Period. So you're right. Let's do
Yeah,
the
it's
damn
just,
thing, man.
hey, there's something to be said about doing some of them Tony Robbins sets. I kind of want to do it again, man. I did one of his programs when I was like 20 years old or something.
So humor me. And one morning, I don't know how your schedule is, but well, you're 3 hours off, so it would be like 6 in the morning for you. But they're on YouTube. Check out the Forge and Fuel podcast. Now, me,
What'd you say? Forge and Fuel?
Forge and Fuel,
Okay.
ampersand, Forge ampersand Fuel. You can find. I'll send you the link. But
Okay.
so it's so not me. They're like gym bros. They're super motivational. I'm friends with him now. Before I didn't know, but they're the things they say, just they're super motivational, just like him. Everything's, look at the bright side, motivational. They acknowledge the challenges, all that.
It's all perspective, man. It's
Yeah,
all it's
that's what
all
they say.
perspective.
It's all data. It's how you deal with it. When someone
Yeah.
gives you something criticizing, it's just data. You figure out how to use that data and use
I'll
it to
tell
your
you some. I'll
advantage.
tell you something. What's really interesting about once you figure that out, it's really easy to find happiness. You know what I mean? Because you're learning how to control your energy and where to put it. You
Dude,
know?
listen to them. You will love it. And I
Yeah.
love that
That's
attitude. I fucking love it,
yeah.
man. It's so great because I've seen it happen in my own life. As my attitude has changed, my life has changed. And some people say, "Oh, you're just looking at things differently, so it seems better." Okay. So tell
But
me
that
how
but
that's
that's
any
but
different.
But that's what you have to do to get a different perspective to
Yeah.
get changes. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting change if you don't change your approach.
Everything
You
is
know
how you react to it. Everything in
exactly.
life is how you react to it. Things happen and people react to them differently. Now, there's certain things that hit us all bad, death of a loved one, things like
Sure.
that. There's no way to look at that in a positive manner unless, oh, they were suffering, now they're not, stuff like that. But average things that happen every day that some people, it destroys them, it ruins their day, it ruins their lives. Other people look at it in a totally different way. Every single door that closes is another opportunity. Another one's going to open. You're going to find something. You got to do something. And how you look at it is how it exists. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As cheesy as that sounds, is
Well,
the way you view it is your reality. So that's how it exists to you. So
well, it's like
try to think positive.
think about this though. Like if you were to walk through like a door, like let's say your bedroom door or something every day, and it squeaked every time you opened and closed it, like it made a squeaking sound, and
Yeah.
every time you hear it, it drives you fucking crazy. Like but you don't because you're too busy to fix it, right? So
Yeah.
it just goes on and goes on,
I'll deal with
and
it
it's like
later.
right, just that little bit of anxiety will drive you fucking bananas. But if you just took the 2 seconds to fucking throw some WD on there, and then it's fixed, you know what I mean? It's like the 2 seconds that it takes to resolve the situation, but you're gonna drive yourself crazy every day for just something so minuscule. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Dude, it's one of those things and it's a chain reaction thing. It's a building event. That squeak, then something else happens because you're already set off. And I forget,
Yeah.
it was an old comedian from back in the day. You're older too, so you might remember.
Wow.
they were
Thanks, Ted. That's offensive.
I said older too with me. I'm not an ageist, bro.
Hey, do you know
But
I put on jeans today for this podcast? I feel like I should be working in a bank or something. Okay, like this is crazy.
but so it's like, imagine if you're, I forget the comedian again, but say you're rude to somebody in a grocery store, then they
That's
go
what you're
up
gonna get back.
and then they're rude to somebody, they're rude to the cashier, and then that cashier is rude to somebody in the parking lot, and then that dude's mad and cuts somebody off in traffic, and then that dude that was cut off in traffic is rude to someone else, and then they go home and beat their wife. And now you
Well,
started this
you
by
know
one
what's, you
little
know what's,
thing.
that's like what I feel like. When it comes to like police officers, they have a lot of domestic cases. If you ever look at, the statistics,
Yeah.
because they have police officers have a hard job. Everybody's lying to them all day, every day. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and they take it out on their loved ones, unfortunately. And I forget where I was going with this, but it just, it's like like what you
Yeah,
said,
when you're
I
dealing
was
with
like,
bad shit all the time, it has a bad effect on your life.
right, it can go like a roller coaster, can keep going
Yeah.
down that track, and just lead to affecting every aspect of your life,
So
you
just
know.
try to look at everything positively, the best you can. Obviously, some things suck, period, but then you got to roll with it. But we are at 2 hours and almost 20 minutes, dude. So I told you it was going to roll.
Hey, so when is that? Can you send that cash out now or the Venmo when?
I get paid hourly, motherfucker. So, no, is there anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Oh,
Anything else you
dude.
want to leave people with?
You know what? I just want to say thank you so much for having me on today. It's I don't get to have my voice heard a lot, so it's just nice to talk to you. I mean, we didn't even really talk about this whole global collateral count stuff, but
We'll have to talk about it again, man.
we're gonna put some links in so people can learn some more about it because it's really some interesting stuff. But I'm just glad like we got to get to know you conversation. And that's really cool, man. I think like I appreciate you, dude. You know,
You're welcome, and I
um,
appreciate you. And that's what this is all about. We just want to talk to people that are interesting. And I think this was a great conversation. I don't care how many
thank you.
followers you have, I don't care how many subjects we got into. it was a good conversation with somebody, and I know people will get stuff out of this, and we'll leave the links like you said, but it's all about leaving breadcrumbs and talking to new people and hearing different perspectives. That's why I'm here, and if anybody doesn't like that, then you're in the wrong place,
I
period.
love
So
it. I love it. That's what it's all about. It's just I enjoy just talking to people. That's what's so fascinating about using X. For example, it's just meeting people and talking to them and hearing different perspectives. And
yep.
like I said, when I first followed you guys, I didn't know you guys were flat Earth guys. Not that I gave a shit. Didn't
I didn't even
But
know that till like a couple weeks ago, and we've been
yeah,
talking for
but
over a year or more.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I just really liked what you guys had going on. I think you guys had a good like shtick, if that's the word to use, or something.
yeah, no, I get
I dig it.
it.
And I was
So
so happy when all of you guys followed me back. I was like so happy.
the
You know,
whole fucking crew. Yep. Hopefully they'll be
but
back soon. Love them dudes. But dude, thank you so much. This is where I hate and love to say, fade it out. Dude, again, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Look at you go.
hey, you know what my favorite number is? Number 2, baby. That's what I do.
Number 2.
I take number 2s.
Number 2, Snoop Von Poop. Everybody go check out his stuff. It's fucking awesome. Also, register to win a bidet. Do it. You'll be cleaner.
Yes,
You'll be better when
10,000.
he
Once we
hits.
hit 10,000, we're giving away this portable, man. It's so
And
cool.
I can
And
say
also,
I won the
also,
first one.
Yes. Also, the promo code Snoop. Go if you just want to buy one. If you got that kind of bread, go ahead and buy one, and then you can type in Snoop and get a discount. And if it doesn't work, just tell them Ted sent you.
Yeah.
Okay?
There you go. I don't know if that'll work, but let's try it out. Dude, thank you so much. This was such a great conversation.
Yes,
I appreciate
man.
you coming
It's
by.
awesome.
I love talking to new people. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.